Chapter 492. It's not that cold anymore. Why do you still need someone to warm your bed? But I'm cold. Then I'll let Dowda cover it for you. How can Dowda be as warm as you? Who said that? A child's but has 3 fires. Dowda is definitely much warmer than me. When Zhao Yun'er said this, Mu Lianfeng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If she wanted to reject him, then so be it. Why did she have to say so much? Looking at Zhao Yun'er's bright red face, Mu Lianfeng felt that Zhao Yun'er was unusually cute. Dowda was eating when he looked up and smiled at Mu Lianfeng. Daddy, if you're cold, you can sleep in the middle. That way Dowda and Mommy can warm you up. When Mu Lianfeng heard this, he felt that it was very good and readily agreed. Haha, my son knows how to dote on his daddy. Then it's decided. Zhao Yun'er only felt that she was once again sold by this precious son of hers. Mommy, Dowda is full. Can we get some meat to feed Xiao Mao now? Dowda held the bowl and asked Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er nodded. Go ahead. It had been a long time since she fed Xiao Mao meat. Xiao Mao had been working very hard during this period of time, so giving it some meat to eat was considered a reward. Aha! Dowda held the small bowl and excitedly went out. Seeing Dowda trotting out, Zhao Yun'er's heart melted. When Dowda left the room, only Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng were left. The temperature in the air seemed to have risen quite a bit. Yun'er, Mu Lianfeng stopped eating and muttered as he looked at Zhao Yun'er with some affection. Before Zhao Yun'er could react, Mu Lianfeng kissed her on the cheek. Taking advantage of Dowda's absence, she stole a kiss like a thief. Zhao Yun'er took it out and wiped her face, wiping off a lot of oil stains. She took it to Mu Lianfeng with disgust and said to Mu Lianfeng with a serious face, "Don't kiss me when I'm eating in the future. Look, it's so oily." Mu Lianfeng smiled helplessly. He only felt that this Zhao Yun'er was even cuter in his heart. Okay. I won't do it again, Mu Lianfeng replied. It was the first time he felt so despised. After lunch, Zhao Yun'er told him about arranging for her father and a few others to go mining. Mu Lianfeng agreed. In addition, he also told Zhao Yun'er that they needed a few women to cook in the mountains and asked if she could arrange for them. Such a large group of people had come over, and they were currently setting up camp in the open space at the foot of the mountain. Many of them were specially sent by the imperial court, and they needed to be taken care of. And these miners would also provide 3 meals. So with so many people eating, at least 4 to 5 women would be needed to cook. Of course, if the women were to come over to cook, they would also be paid. When Zhao Yun'er heard this, she thought of her 4th aunt, Aunt Lu and Aunt Lu's wives. So she said to Mu Lianfeng, "Then I'll arrange this. I know who to look for." Mu Lianfeng nodded. "I originally asked Li Zheng to look for this matter. Tell him tomorrow that he doesn't need to help." Okay. Actually, this was a good job, and she could earn a good salary. Many women could be found in the village, and many of them would fight for it. Since she was asked to make the arrangements, she would privately arrange this good job for someone she was close to. Chapter 493. Mu Lianfeng wasn't around during this period of time, and there was no one to tutor Dowda. Now that he was back, Dowda was in high spirits, and he pestered Mu Lianfeng to explain to him. Mu Lianfeng couldn't refuse, so he could only smile and talk about his knowledge. After a while, Dowda was still studying hard, but Mu Lianfeng became anxious. This child wasn't sleeping yet. How could he be intimate with Zhao Yun'er later? Thus Mu Lianfeng asked, "Dowda, aren't you sleepy? Studying requires a balance between work and rest. Why don't you sleep now?" Dowda isn't sleepy. "Father, are you sleepy?" Mu Lianfeng shook his head. "Father isn't sleepy either." "Then father, let's accompany mother for a while. Don't you think so?" Mu Lianfeng's mouth twitched slightly, and he forced a smile. "Dowda seems to be right. Then let's continue studying for a while." Yes. Dowda nodded heavily. Mu Lianfeng was a little distracted. He originally thought that it was good for his son to accompany her, but now he felt that his son was getting in the way. There was only one room here, and Dowda couldn't do anything else. Mu Lianfeng thought for a while, and then said to Zhao Yun'er, why don't we build a new house? It's too small with only one room, and it's not convenient to live in, don't you think so?" Zhao Yin'er smiled. Yes, I also want to build a house. When I have enough money, we can build one. You want me to wait for you to save enough money? I have some here. Why don't you use mine? We can live in a big house earlier. And Daodu can have his own room in the future. Also, you can build a big house and let your parents come and live with us. It's better to live together as a family. Mu Lianfeng had a point. It was inconvenient for her mother to travel between her house and old Zhao's house every day. But Mu Lianfeng knew that Zhao Yun'er didn't want to spend his money, so he said, I'll pay for it first. If you don't think it's good, you can pay me back when you earn more. What do you think? Zhao Yun'er nodded and said, That's fine. I'll talk to my mother about building a house later. Mu Lianfeng nodded, looking very happy. Once they had a new house, they wouldn't have to wait for Daodu to fall asleep every night. Zhao Yun'er didn't know much about building a house. She had no idea how to build it or how to find the right person. Liang Jinxiao definitely knew more about this than she did. Thinking about building a new house, Zhao Yun'er was still a little excited. After all, this meant that their lives would get better and better. Her shabby straw hut would be extremely cold in winter, and it wouldn't last long. The next morning, Zhao Yun'er left breakfast in the pot for Mu Lianfeng and Daodu. She specially made soy milk. Both of them had to replenish their nutrition. On the way to Yang City, Mulan kept yawning and had 2 dark circles under her eyes. Hence she smiled and said to Mulan, Sister-in-law Mulan, it seems like I can't even give you fish bubbles in the future, lest you can't sleep well every night. Mulan blushed slightly when Zhao Yun'er said that. She said shyly, Yun'er, I didn't do that with Eru last night. What's wrong then? Why didn't you sleep well? Chapter 494. When Zhao Yun'er heard this, she frowned and asked, Sister-in-law Mulan, could it be that you've met a pervert? Is there really someone watching your house? When Zhao Yun'er said this, Mulan's heart skipped a beat. It can't be. It's possible. Otherwise, you wouldn't have such a feeling. But who could it be? Who wouldn't sleep in the middle of the night? Mulan was a little puzzled. Sister-in-law Mulan, how about this? You sleep first tonight. If you find out that someone is watching you, you can get up and sneak a peek. Blow out the lights in the house. Be careful. You might be able to catch them. Mulan felt that Zhao Yun'er's idea was good. Anyway, she had to catch them. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't be able to sleep well after being watched in the future. However, Zhao Yun'er guessed that it was some sort of pervert. After all, there were many perverts in this era. Mulan's brother-in-law was one of them. The person who was sneaking a peek might be Zhu Sanlu. Zhao Yun'er heard from Mulan that after Zhu Sanlu's nether regions were trampled, Mrs. Zhu found a doctor to treat him. Now he was lying in bed half dead. He shouldn't be able to get out of bed now, right? When they arrived at Yang City, the few of them started to sell their food at the stall. Zhao Yun'er's business could be said to be doing better and better. Because of her stall, the other breakfast stalls around her didn't have good business. When Zhao Yun'er came over, the door of the small house that originally had tables and chairs was actually lifted. The tables and chairs inside were also smashed by someone. When Zhao Yun'er and Mulan came over and saw this scene, they were stunned. How could this be? Who the hell did this? She didn't catch them on the spot, so naturally she didn't know. But these tables and chairs were all smashed. How could she continue to do business? What's going on? Liang Jinxiao frowned and asked. Zhao Yun'er took a look inside. The things inside were not robbed or taken away. They were just damaged. The tables and chairs were missing arms and legs. It was obvious that someone deliberately damaged them. It didn't take much to figure out that only her competitors would do such a thing. It was probably because he saw that her business was too popular and affected other people's businesses, so he got jealous and smashed the tables and chairs in his house. Sigh. Mulan sighed. Isn't this a little too wicked? We didn't do anything bad. Why are you treating us like this? Zhao sighed and looked around carefully. Fortunately, only the tables and chairs were smashed. The pots and other things could still be used. Zhao Yun'er said to Mulan and Liang Jinxiao, Let's make do with it for now. We'll ask someone to fix the tables and chairs for us later, and replace it with an iron door so that people can't break it open. We probably can't let the customers sit down and eat today. There are too many people who are jealous. We can't be sure who it is. We didn't catch them, so it's hard to say. Mulan and Liang Jinxiao nodded. They could only do as Zhao Yun'er said. The ingredients for breakfast were all prepared. They couldn't not make breakfast today. The few of them tidied up and started to take care of the stall. Although the customers complained a little, they could understand. After all, it wasn't Zhao Yun'er and the others who wanted it to be like this. With things smashed, they felt worse than anyone else. Because there were no seats, in the end, there were still some things left. Chapter 495. Before she was about to pack up the stall, the man in black who had come to Zhao Yun'er's stall came again. But this time he came over with a man in his hand. When he arrived at Zhao Yun'er's stall, he directly threw the man over. Zhao Yun'er and the others were slightly stunned, not knowing what the man in black wanted to do. This is... Zhao Yun'er looked at the man in black with some confusion. Zhao Yun'er could not see his appearance very clearly, because it was covered by the hat on his head. The person who smashed your things. The man in black explained, his voice a little cold. Zhao Yun'er naturally did not expect that someone would help her catch the person who smashed her tables and chairs. Looking at the person on the ground, Zhao Yun'er had some impression. He also sold breakfast not far from her stall. A man in his early 30s, with a somewhat wretched appearance. No wonder he would do things like smashing people's things behind their backs. Zhao Yun'er was still a little confused and asked the man in black, "How do you know it's him?" "I saw it." "Since you saw it, then there's no doubt it's this person." The man lying on the ground looked at the man in black with some horror, and immediately bowed his head to Zhao Yun'er and admitted his mistake. "Miss, I'm sorry, the things in your house were indeed smashed by me. I just see that your business is too good, and my heart feels uncomfortable, so I promise, I won't dare to do it again. After your tables are repaired, no matter how much money it costs, I'll pay for it." Zhao Yun'er saw that the man on the ground was very cowardly, and his attitude of admitting his mistake was also very sincere. Since he had already said that he would pay for it, she was too lazy to not let it go. So she said, "All right then, I'll let it go this time. If I find out that you're playing tricks next time, I'll definitely not let you off." "Don't worry, miss, I definitely won't. I won't dare to do it again." "All right then, you go back and arrange for someone to repair my table. After it's repaired, this matter will be over." The man hurriedly responded, Okay, miss, don't worry." Zhao Yun'er responded faintly. The man looked at the man in black nervously and asked carefully, Can I go now?" The man in black glanced at him coldly and said, "Get lost." Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but look at the man in black. Why did she feel that his ice-cold appearance was somewhat cool? The man in black also seemed to feel Zhao Yun'er's gaze, and his whole body was somewhat uncomfortable. She said to Zhao Yun'er, "I've found the person who smashed your things. I'm leaving now." "Wait." Zhao Yun'er stopped him. The man in black replied faintly, "Miss, is there anything else?" "Thank you for what happened today. Thank you for helping me catch the person." The man in black replied faintly, "You're welcome. Miss treated me to a meal before, and I have nothing to repay you with. I can only do what I can." Zhao Yun'er smiled. "Then I still have to thank you." I'm leaving first." The man in black didn't dare to look at the smile on Zhao Yun'er's face. "Wait." Zhao Yun'er called out again. As she spoke, she took out a few buns from the steamer, which were not sold out today, and stuffed them into the man in black's hands. "Take these buns and eat them. I didn't sell all of them today. Although they're not worth much, they're quite delicious, and they're filling. Take it as my thanks for helping me today." Chapter 496. He didn't want it at first, but he couldn't resist the temptation of the steamed buns. In the end he took a bite. "Thank you, Mississippi. You're welcome." The man in black took the steamed buns and left. Zhao Yun'er looked at the man's back. No matter how she looked at him, she felt that he wasn't simple. Just now when he caught the man, he was so handsome. He had extraordinary skills and was skilled in martial arts. Zhao Yun'er was curious. How could such a person be so miserable? It was reasonable to say that with his skills he should be able to earn money, right? Mulan also looked at the man in black and said to Zhao Yin, Yin'er, I didn't expect him to help us. Zhao Yin'er smiled. Give a peach and return a plum. It's not a bad thing to help others. Yin'er, you're right. Let's go. We can pack up and go home. Okay. Zhao Yin asked Mulan to bring back some of the leftovers from selling breakfast. After selling breakfast for so long, the children at home didn't eat much. The steamed dumplings and steamed buns overflowed with a strong fragrance. When Zhao Yin arrived home, there was a woman guarding the door. Ma Xiaofeng's mother, Qian Chuanxiu, came over. Looking at her angry face, it was obvious that she was here to cause trouble. Sure enough, when Zhao Yin'er's carriage stopped in the yard, Qian Chuanxiu rushed up angrily. Zhao Yin wondered if it was because of Ma Xiaofeng's 24 copper coins. Aunt Chuanxiu, I don't know why you came to my house. Zhao Yin'er asked. Zhao Yin, you little b*tch, you still have the nerve to ask. It's all your fault. What did I do? Aunt, are you talking about the 24 copper coins that Xiaofeng owes me? She had already paid me back, and you can't blame me for this. That's because she spent so much money on my breakfast stall. Isn't it wrong for you to come looking for trouble with me? After Zhao Yin'er said this, Qian Chuanxiu was stunned. What? Xiaofeng actually owed Zhao Yin'er 24 copper coins? When had this wretched lass not mentioned this to her? And when did he return it? Where did the money come from? Qian Chuanxiu suddenly remembered that her daughter had been selling vegetables in Yang City all day. Could it be that she had taken the money from her earnings? Thinking of this, Qian Chuanxiu became even angrier. That damned girl actually learned to do this kind of thing. She would definitely beat her to death later. I'm not talking about that. If it's not about that, then why did Auntie come here? Zhao Yin'er frowned again. She couldn't figure it out. Zhao Yin'er, why are you so vicious at such a young age? It's already not easy for me, a widow, to raise 2 children. It wasn't easy for Li Zheng to sympathize with me. Yesterday he recommended me to cook for the miners. Today he suddenly said that he couldn't do it anymore. Master Shitzi arranged for you to recommend someone. I'm almost out of rice at home. Don't you think that you're deliberately forcing me to my death? Qian Chuanxiu cried loudly and immediately attracted the attention of others. Many villagers who wanted to join in the fun gathered around. When they heard Qian Chuanxiu's words, they began to sympathize with her. It's not easy for Aunt Qian. Her family doesn't have any fields, and she still has to raise 2 children. It's not easy for her to come across an opportunity to earn money. It's good to let her go. Sigh, didn't Lord Li Zheng think of her? Who doesn't have difficulties in the village? Her family's life is the most difficult in our village. Chapter 497. In the end, it's all because of Zhao Yin'er. If she hadn't wanted to share the benefits with her family, sister-in-law Chuanxiu wouldn't have ended up like this. That's why I say that some people are so vicious and inhumane. What can we do? She's related to the heir. Most of these women who were scolding Zhao Yin were the ones who had asked for help yesterday, but were rejected by Zhao Yin. Now they could hit her while she was down. Zhao Yin coldly swept a glance at Qian Chuanxiu, who was causing trouble. Indeed, only a weirdo like Qian Chuanxiu could give birth to a daughter like Ma Xiaofeng. Both mother and daughter had their own unique characteristics. Before Zhao Yin could say anything to Qian Chuanxiu, Mu Lianfeng came back holding Daoda's little hand and spoke in a cold voice. I'd like to know who's causing trouble. If there's anything, you can talk to me directly. Everyone's gaze fell on Mu Lianfeng. Qian Chuanxiu sniffled and started to kneel in front of Mu Lianfeng to complain tearfully. She was simply saying that she was poor, and that it wasn't easy to raise 2 children. After Qian Chuanxiu finished crying, Mu Lianfeng said indifferently, So? Heir. So shouldn't the heir take pity on her and ask her to cook? Shouldn't he give her such a good job? Your Highness. I want to cook, please give me a chance. Why should I give you a chance? Or rather, what right do you have to negotiate with me? Because I'm poor. Mu Lianfeng sneered. This is the reason why you're here to cause trouble for Yin'er? Just because you're poor, I have to give you this opportunity? If we're talking about the hardships of life, I'm afraid that Yun-er has had it even harder than you over the past few years. However, Yun-er relied on her own two hands to make her life better and better. Remember, opportunities are not given to you by others. You create them yourself. Since you feel that you're poor, you should work hard to change the situation instead of finding trouble with Yun-er like you did. Since everyone is here, then this heir will make things clear. This heir will be in Shuilan village for the next few days. If anyone comes to Yun-er to be picky about food, then don't blame this heir for being impolite. After Mu Lianfeng finished speaking, Qian Chuanxiu was dumbfounded. The surrounding women didn't even dare to fart. Who would dare to provoke Mu Lianfeng? Zhao Yun-er stood on Mu Lianfeng and stared at the man standing in front of her. It was so nice to have him by her side. He spoke in an orderly manner that no one could refute. Zhao Yun-er never thought that her man would be so outstanding. With Mu Lianfeng's protection, there would be a lot less trouble around her in the future. At this time Ma Xiaofeng came over. When she heard Mu Lianfeng's words, she helped Qian Chuanxiu up and advised, "Mother, let's go. Don't provoke the heir apparent. Otherwise, we won't be able to bear the consequences." Qian Chuanxiu was already in a bad mood. When she saw Ma Xiaofeng, she remembered that Ma Xiaofeng owed Zhao Yun-er 24 copper coins. She immediately started scolding and beating Ma Xiaofeng. "You wretched girl. When did you owe someone 24 copper coins? You didn't even tell me." Ma Xiaofeng's braids were grabbed by Qian Chuanxiu and she started shouting in pain, "Mother, it hurts. Let go." In fact, Ma Xiaofeng didn't just feel pain. It was also because Qian Chuanxiu hit her in front of so many people, which made her lose face. Chapter 498. As Qian Chuanxiu spoke, she slapped Ma Xiaofeng's face. Ma Xiaofeng cried out in pain, "Mother, don't hit me anymore. It hurts. Sister Xiaohong lent me this money to repay my debt." "Then, don't you owe Xiaohong that girl money now? You wretched girl. You actually spent 24 copper coins. See if I don't beat you to death." Qian Chunhua directly picked up the stick on the ground and whipped Ma Xiaofeng's body. Ma Xiaofeng's arm was covered in red marks. Seeing Ma Xiaofeng like this, Zhao Yun-er suddenly understood why Ma Xiaofeng was so scared. This Qian Chuanxiu was completely perverted. Her own daughter was already so old, yet she still hit her like this. The surrounding people couldn't stand it anymore and advised, "Enough, sister-in-law Chuanxiu. Xiaofeng didn't owe so much money on purpose. Did someone deliberately make Xiaofeng owe so much money? Even if you hit her like this, she won't be able to get so much money." These words also implied that it was all Zhao Yun-er's fault. "That's right, sister-in-law Chuanxiu. Xiaofeng is usually quite sensible. You can't hit her just because of this matter. Sister-in-law Chuanxiu, forget it. Don't hit her anymore. She's already so old. She'll feel bad if she gets hit." Qian Chuanxiu was persuaded. Although she stopped, she still said this angrily. "I don't know if it's because I did too many bad things in my previous life that I gave birth to such a money-losing thing in this life." "Woo-woo," Ma Xiaofeng lowered her head and cried. "Hurry up and go back." Qian Chuanxiu scolded. Ma Xiaofeng left with Qian Chuanxiu, feeling aggrieved. Before she left, she glared at Zhao Yun-er hatefully. The noisy scene in front of the door began to calm down again. Zhao Yun-er breathed a sigh of relief. She was troubled by trivial matters every day. When would there be no more weirdos? Say. Zhao Yun-er sighed and began to move the things into the house. Mu Lianfeng hurried forward and said, "Yun-er, let me do it. You've been busy enough this morning." Zhao Yun-er glanced at the tall man. Was he feeling sorry for her? "All right, you do it." Yeah. Mu Lianfeng neatly unloaded the things from the car. He didn't expect him to be so good at such menial work. "Yun-er, I wasn't by your side in the past and I made you suffer. With me around in the future, I will never let anyone bully you." Mu Lianfeng seemed to be making a promise to both Zhao Yun-er and himself. And Zhao Yun-er responded. In fact, he didn't need to say these things. She already knew in her heart. Zhao Yun-er rested for a while before preparing to cook. Mu Lianfeng also followed in. "Yun-er, can you teach me how to cook?" Zhao Yun-er thought she heard wrong. What did this guy say? Teach him how to cook. You want to learn how to cook? Yes. Mu Lianfeng nodded heavily and said, Yuner, when I learn how to cook, I can cook for you. Now that I know how to make a fire, it won't take long to learn how to cook. When the time comes, you can rest and I'll do all the cooking. Mu Lianfeng said as he looked at Zhao Yuner with eyes full of tenderness. Zhao Yuner couldn't describe her feelings at this moment. For a man of Mu Lianfeng's status, it was good enough that he wasn't served by others, but he was actually serving others for her. Chapter 499. Zhao Yuner also knew that only when a man loved a woman deeply would he be like this. Men in this era basically did not touch the kitchen. They felt that cooking was something that only women would do. Even a man like Zhu Eru, who was good to Mulan, had never thought of cooking for Mulan. Mu Lianfeng saw that Zhao Yuner did not say anything and thought that Zhao Yuner did not agree, so he continued, Yuner, teach me. I promise that I will learn quickly. Zhao Yuner was amused by Mu Lianfeng. Are you sure you want to learn? Yes, yes. Mu Lianfeng nodded heavily. Then it's a deal. If I learn how to cook, I may not cook often and leave it to you. Do you still want to learn now? Mu Lianfeng still agreed without hesitation. Of course, learn. Yuner, then you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Leave it to me. In the future, I will cook for you Daodu for the rest of your life. Zhao Yuner's mouth raised a happy smile and said with a smile, Haha, that's good. Then I will teach you. In the future, I will leave the cooking to you. In the future, you will be a house husband. Mu Lianfeng suddenly found it difficult to understand what a house husband meant. He asked doubtfully, Yuner, what is a house husband? Zhao Yuner also found it difficult to explain, so she smiled and said, It means that in the future, I will be responsible for earning money to support the family, and you will be responsible for being as beautiful as a flower. You will take care of the chores at home. You will be my little wife. Mu Lianfeng smiled awkwardly at Zhao Yuner's words. Yuner, I am a man. How can I be a little wife? A little wife does not refer to a woman, but to a woman who plays the role of a woman in the family. Okay then. But you can't let others know about this. Only we can know. Haha, Zhao Yuner was in a good mood. She didn't know how her relationship with Mu Lianfeng had suddenly become so close. He could actually joke around so casually. In the kitchen, Zhao Yuner began to teach Mu Lianfeng how to cook. Mu Lianfeng also learned quickly. After Zhao Yuner demonstrated a few times, he also sat up. Perhaps it was because Mu Lianfeng had been practicing martial arts for a long time, but he was better at cutting vegetables than Zhao Yuner. His knife skills were simply extraordinary. The meal was cooked under the joint efforts of the two people, and they ate it with incomparable sweetness. After lunch, Mu Lianfeng went to the foot of the mountain again. Yuner, I might not be able to come back for dinner tonight. There are a lot of things I have to deal with over there. Zhao Yuner nodded and said, It's okay. Go ahead and do your work. I will bring you dinner. Isn't that too troublesome? It's not troublesome. Okay then. Yuner, I will wait for your dinner. Zhao Yuner smiled and nodded. Okay. In the afternoon, Liang Jinxiao came to help. Zhao Yuner told her about arranging for her fourth aunt, an Aunt Lu, to help cook. Liang Jinxiao felt that this was a good thing. If she didn't help Zhao Yuner take care of the stall, she also wanted to go. Mother, I want to build a house. In the future, you and father can move out and live there. When she heard Zhao Yuner say that she wanted to build a house, Liang Jinxiao knew that such a day would come, but she didn't expect it to be so early. Chapter 500. In terms of money, Zhao Yuner was not worried. No matter how expensive it was, it would not exceed 100 taels of silver. Mu Lianfeng directly gave her 200 taels of silver this time. In addition to building a house, it was also enough for her to buy some furniture. Mother, it's fine. Let's build a brick house. This time, let's build a bigger house. Everyone in our family will have a room to live in. Moreover, Tianen and Tianfu will grow up, get married, and have children. If we don't build a bigger house, it won't be enough for them to live in. It's best if we can build a dozen rooms and make it into a big courtyard. Yin, you're really thinking far ahead. If we build such a big brick house, it probably won't be enough without 40 to 50 taels of silver. Mother, you don't have to worry about the money. I have enough here. That's good. Then I'll go back and talk to your father. When we build a big house, we have to buy the foundation first. Zhao Yin'er nodded in agreement. She did not know much about building a house, so she could only leave it to her parents. However, Zhao Yin'er knew that with her parents around, these things could be done well. Although Zhao Wenhua's personality was a little weak, she was good at doing things. Okay. After preparing breakfast and other things, Zhao Yin'er first went to Auntie Lu and told her. The cooking work had to be done tomorrow. These few days, the workers were eating the food sent by the villagers. Auntie Lu was very grateful to Zhao Yin'er for thinking about her. Her family could not do without a woman to take care of it, so she arranged for a daughter-in-law to stay behind. She was going to go with another daughter-in-law. The daughter-in-law was Lu Shan's wife, Madame Zhou. The reason why Madame Zhou stayed behind was to let Madame Zhou cook. On the other hand, Madame Zhou was pregnant again. It was only slightly more than a month, so her belly did not show. The villagers were poor. Even if a woman was pregnant, it was not that precious. It was not to the extent of not working and lying in bed. On the contrary, most pregnant women would work until a few days before giving birth. It was definitely easier to arrange for Madame Zhou to cook 3 meals at home than for hundreds of people. Speaking of Madame Zhou's pregnancy, Auntie Lu sighed and said, I just don't know if my eldest daughter-in-law is pregnant with a daughter. What if it's a daughter again? I haven't had a grandson yet. Zhao Yin'er sighed in her heart. This Auntie Lu really had a soft spot for her grandson. It seemed that if her 2 daughters-in-law didn't give birth to a boy, she would always be brooding. Zhao Yin'er smiled and comforted her. This baby will definitely be a boy. Really? Yin'er, how did you know? Auntie Lu, don't worry. What will come will come. Your family is so nice. There will be a boy. Hearing Zhao Yin'er's words, Auntie Lu was in a good mood. She laughed and said, Yin'er girl, you really know how to talk. If it's a boy, I'll definitely treat you to a meal. Zhao Yin'er laughed twice. In fact, she did not understand why the ancient people were so keen on having a boy. They probably did not know how much pressure a boy in the 21st century had on his family. Getting married, buying a house. They were just pursuing a child to carry on the family line. But there were so many people. If you didn't give birth, there would be other people to give birth to. There would not be a time when they would perish. On her way back from Auntie Lu's place, Zhao Yin'er thought that she was still short of 2 people. Who should she arrange? Who were the good people in this village? Chapter 501. One was Zhao Yin'er's 4th daughter-in-law Nian. Zhao Yin'er didn't care about what happened last time. In fact, Nian was a good person. After that, she felt sorry for Zhao Yin'er, so she came over to make trouble. From time to time, she would send some vegetables over. She didn't send expensive things, but after all, they were friends. In addition, Nian was a simple-minded person. She wasn't calculative and was very hardworking. It was more practical to assign someone like her to work. There were also 2 other women in the village. They didn't gossip before. Although they were a little dull, they were more diligent in their work. It was said that they were good at cooking. As soon as Zhao Yin'er arrived home, Zhao Tianfu ran over to Zhao Yin'er and said, Second sister, go to Grandma's place. Zhao Yin'er saw that Zhao Tianfu came to see her, so she asked, Tianfu, what's the matter? Sister, that matchmaker is here again. Zhao Tianfu whispered. They are now discussing eldest sister's marriage. You should go and listen. Zhao Yin'er smiled. It turned out that her brother wanted her to go and join in the fun. So she said, Okay, I'll go and have a look. She wanted to know how Zhao Ping's marriage was going to be and what kind of husband matchmaker Gao had found. So she followed Zhao Tianfu to old Zhao's house. Several women in old Zhao's family were in the yard, surrounding matchmaker Gao. Li Chuiying in particular had a smile on her face and looked very happy. If she couldn't control her smile, her mouth would probably split open. When Zhao Yin'er went over, She found out that the reason why Li Chuiying was so happy was that matchmaker Gao had helped Zhao Yun find a good marriage. The man was from the town. His family ran a small business. He was the youngest son in the family, so he was very precious. According to matchmaker Gao's description, the man was good-looking and had good conditions. Matchmaker Gao was just right to find a marriage for the two of them, so she bought the two of them together. As for whether the two sides were satisfied or not, they had to meet again and confirm it. If they all agreed, then they could discuss the marriage. Even so, Li Chuiying was still very happy. After all, she had confidence in Zhao Jing'er. Her daughter was so pretty. How could he not be satisfied? Matchmaker Gao, thank you so much. Thanks to you, my daughter can find such a good marriage. Matchmaker Gao smiled and waved her hand. It's okay, it's okay. This is what I should do. It's good that you're all satisfied. Yes, of course, Li Chuiying said with a smile. This was something that many people wished for. If her daughter could really marry into the town, who knew how many people in the village would be envious? If Zhao Jing'er could really marry into a rich family in town, she would also enjoy a good life in the future. Matchmaker Gao, what about my Ping? What do you think? Do you have a place for my family? At the mention of Zhao Ping, matchmaker Gao chuckled and said, She's settled, she's settled. Liang Jinxiao was a little excited. Really? Of course it's true. Why are we still talking about you? Liang Jinxiao was usually calm, but today he was excited. After all, his eldest daughter's marriage was what worried him the most. If it was settled, he really had nothing to worry about in the future. Chapter 502. Matchmaker Gao said, This family lives in Changshu village, but they are indeed a little poor. I have to explain this to you clearly. I can't cheat you. Liang Jinxiao nodded. He felt that since matchmaker Gao had said this to him, it meant that she was quite honest. It's okay, matchmaker Gao. Tell me more about him. Okay. Matchmaker Gao then told him about the man's situation. The man's family was relatively simple. They only had 2 brothers. The old couple were quite good people. They were kind and honest. Their family was too poor. They only had 1 mu of paddy land, and had to rent land and harvest crops to support their family. It was precisely because their family was too poor that his 2 sons did not marry. How could a girl from such an ordinary family be willing to marry into their family? This time, matchmaker Gao also told the man that Zhao Ping was not very good-looking. However, the other party said that a woman's appearance was not important as long as she could bear children. It was only then that matchmaker Gao started to introduce the marriage proposal. After Liang Jinxiao heard about the man's situation, he felt that it was acceptable. It was fine if he was a little poor, as long as he could treat Ping well. Moreover, when Zhao Ping married into their family, she could get more dowry and help the man's family by a few mu of paddy land. Naturally, their life would not be so difficult. It's okay, matchmaker Gao. It's already very good. The conditions are not important. I'll arrange for the 2 children to meet later, and see if they are suitable for each other. Liang Jinxiao said. Matchmaker Gao agreed with a smile. Okay then. She and I are from the same village and don't live far from my house. I can send a message when I go back today. You can tell me where to meet. I'll just inform their family. That's great. Since they want to meet, let's do it as soon as possible. Why don't we send them to Sun City tomorrow morning? The 2 children can walk around and chat for a while. If they come to my house and we adults gather together, it won't be easy for them to chat. Matchmaker Gao nodded with a smile and said, Okay. I'll go back and tell their family. It's good to meet as soon as possible. If this one isn't suitable, I can help you arrange something else. Liang Jinxiao felt that matchmaker Gao's words made sense. All right, it's settled then. Matchmaker Gao. Thank you for your hard work. Haha, no trouble at all. Wait a moment, I'll go get you 10 eggs. You can take them back to eat. There's nothing good at home. Matchmaker Gao was just being polite and didn't reject her. Liang Jinxiao turned around and went into the house to get some eggs. When Li Chuiying saw that Liang Jinxiao had taken the money, and even introduced such a good marriage to his family, he couldn't refuse. She begged Hu Chunhua for a long time before Hu Chunhua agreed to give her 10 eggs. Zhao Ping'er's face was also full of joy. After hearing matchmaker Gao's words, it meant that there was hope for her to get married. Just thinking about it made her excited. Zhao Ping'er was more concerned about the man's appearance. After all, Zhao Yun'er had found Mu Lianfeng. He was so tall and handsome, so she couldn't find someone too shabby. It was fine if he was poor, but he had to be good-looking. Otherwise, if she had a child with a man in the future and she was so ugly, wouldn't the child be even uglier? In order not to affect the next generation, she had to find someone who was slightly better looking. Chapter 503. She looked at Zhao Ping'er's shy, girlish demeanor. Matchmaker Gao had been a matchmaker for so many years. How could she not know what girls were thinking? Many girls cared more about the man's appearance. Hence she smiled and replied, "Don't worry, Mississippi. I've seen him before. He's good-looking. He's fair and clean, and he's a handsome young man." Upon hearing matchmaker Gao's words, Zhao Ping'er looked forward to it even more. She couldn't wait to meet the man. "That's good." Zhao Ping'er lowered her head and tugged at her handkerchief. Zhao Yun'er watched Zhao Ping'er from the side and couldn't help but want to laugh. Zhao Ping'er was really funny. Those who didn't know better would think that she was desperate for a man. Look at how thirsty she was. Zhao Yun'er thought that it would be best if this marriage could be consummated. This way Zhao Ping'er would be able to get married smoothly. She hoped that when they met tomorrow, both parties would be satisfied. Liang Jinxiao and Li Chuiying took out the eggs and handed them to matchmaker Gao. Matchmaker Gao didn't continue to waste time at old Zhao's house. Instead, she bid farewell and said, "I've already brought the news for you. I'll go back first." Okay. Take care, matchmaker Gao." "Oh, it's okay. You don't have to send me off." Old Zhao's people came back after sending matchmaker Gao out of the courtyard. In the courtyard, Zhao Ping'er and Zhao Jing'er were immersed in happiness. Zhao Yun'er went forward and said with a smile, "Sister Ping'er, Sister Jing'er, congratulations." Zhao Ping'er was in a good mood, so she didn't quarrel with Zhao Yun'er. She smiled and replied, "Thank you, Sister Yun'er." Zhao Jing'er said, "Sister Yun'er, thank you for your blessings." "You're welcome. This is a happy occasion. I'm happy for you too." Yes. Zhao Xinhui, who was sitting in the courtyard, was not as happy. She didn't expect that an ugly monster like Zhao Ping'er would have a chance to get married. And Zhao Jing'er had found a good family. She, on the other hand, was not young anymore, but her marriage was not settled at all. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't anxious. It was just that she had high standards, unlike Zhao Ping'er, who could make do with any man. She wouldn't be like Zhao Jing'er, who was overjoyed by the people in the town. Even if she did not want to marry someone like Mu Lianfeng, she had to at least be someone important. Seeing Zhao Xinhui's unhappy look, Hu Chunhua began to pick on the second and third branches, trying to comfort Zhao Xinhui. "What are you so happy about? Second daughter-in-law, you wasted 10 eggs. And third daughter-in-law, this matchmaker already said that the family is poor, but you actually agreed. Just wait for Ping'er to marry over and suffer hardships. Don't come back crying when the time comes." After hearing Hu Chunhua's words, Liang Jinxiao and Li Chuiying's expressions turned ugly. Li Chuiying still smiled embarrassedly and said fawningly, "Mother, you can't say that. If Jing'er can marry over, the family is well-to-do, and they will definitely send us a lot of money as wedding gifts." Hu Chunhua snorted softly. Whether this will happen or not is still uncertain. Let's wait until Jing'er marries over before we celebrate. Third daughter-in-law is raising a good-for-nothing. The man's family is poor and probably can't afford a single cent as a wedding gift. They will probably have to pay for it. Originally, it was a good thing, and everyone was happy. However, after Hu Chunhua's interference, the joyous atmosphere suddenly disappeared. Chapter 504. Zhao Ping and Zhao Jing'er were so angry at Hu Chunhua that they went back to their own rooms. Liang Jinxiao couldn't say anything to Hu Chunhua. She could say whatever she wanted, as long as she was satisfied with him. Zhao Yun'er followed them into the room of the third branch. Mother, don't take grandmother's words to heart. She just can't bear to see others doing well. She's probably upset because auntie can't get married. Hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Zhao Ping'er agreed. That's right, that must be it. Grandmother is jealous. Auntie is probably having a harder time getting married than me. She's too arrogant and thinks too highly of herself. Then don't think about what your grandmother said. Ping. Or dress up well tomorrow and see if the man is suitable for you. Speaking of this, Zhao Ping'er shyly lowered her head and made a sound of acknowledgement. Mother, I know. I'll wear the new clothes you made for me tomorrow. Liang Jinxiao laughed and said, Okay. Liang Jinxiao made clothes for Zhao Ping, with the bolt of cloth he bought from Yang City. Zhao Ping, only tried it on once before taking it off and putting it aside, waiting to wear it on the day of the blind date. She thought that she would have to wait for a while longer, but she didn't expect it to happen so soon. Mother, do you think he'll like me? Zhao Ping'er asked shyly. Of course he will. Didn't he say that he doesn't have any requirements for looks? Those who are poor will be satisfied as long as they get a wife. Ping, don't worry. Yes, yes. Looking at Zhao Ping'er's eager expression, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but laugh. What are you laughing at? Zhao Ping'er asked, thinking that Zhao Yun'er was laughing at her. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly said, Sister Ping'er, I'm just happy for you. I don't mean anything else. Zhao Ping'er wasn't sure if Zhao Yun'er was really laughing at her, so she had to give up and didn't argue with Zhao Yun'er. Before Zhao Yun'er left, she was stopped by Hu Chunhua. Several men from old Zhao's family had also returned from their work in the fields. Grandma, what's the matter? Zhao Yun'er asked. As for Zhao Yun'er, Hu Chunhua became polite. Yun'er, I have something to discuss with you. If there's anything you want to say, just say it. I'll listen. That. Yun'er, since you arranged for your fourth uncle to mine and your fourth aunt to cook, there are still people in old Zhao's family. Can you see if you can get your eldest uncle and second uncle, as well as your eldest aunt and second aunt to work in the fields? Our family can make more money. Zhao Yun'er frowned. She knew that Hu Chunhua didn't want to talk to her about anything good. This person was really obsessed with making money. It was good to make more money. Zhao Yun'er replied. Grandma, if they all go, who will do the housework? Who will cook? And old Zhao's family has a lot of fields. Someone has to take care of the fields. Chapter 505. She didn't know how to cook either. She had never learned to cook, and she couldn't stand the greasy feeling in the kitchen. So it was really difficult for her to do housework. However, she couldn't say no. She could only persuade Hu Chunhua not to let all the women in the family work at the mine. Grandmother, you're already so old. How can your body withstand so much torment? You should rest well at home. You haven't done any housework for so many years. If you suddenly do it, your body won't be able to withstand it. For the sake of your health, it's better not to do anything, Shen Pan said. Hu Chunhua was touched when she saw that Shen Pan was worried about her. She praised Shen Pan for being filial. Then I'll have to trouble you, Hui and Jing, to do this work in the future. Hui has never done anything before. I don't know if she knows how to do it. She'll learn from you when the time comes, Hu Chunhua said bluntly. Shen Pan's mouth twitched. She wanted to die. She only felt that she had dug a hole and was jumping into it. Zhao Xinhui pouted and said, No, I won't do it. Let Pan and the others do it. A Shen Pan was stunned. Throw it to her? Old Zhao's family must be dreaming. At this time, she had to find an excuse. Hence she said, Grandmother, I'm afraid I don't have much time to do it. Yang is still young. I can't leave him. I have to take care of him every day. This child doesn't want anyone else to take care of him. He just wants to stick to me. Let my mother stay. Don't let her cook at the mine. How could Hu Chunhua bear to give up? Grandmother, to be honest, the people in the mine have already been confirmed. It's already not easy for me to get fourth sister-in-law in. If they were all old Zhao's people, they would be criticized to death. Also, there's too much work in the fields. My grandfather can't handle it alone. He has to leave eldest uncle and second uncle to help. Hu Chunhua wanted to say something, But she was interrupted by Zhao Baoshan. Zhao Baoshan said, I think Yin'er is right. Not everyone in the family can go to the mines, and the harvest from the fields is still needed. Hua Chunhua had no choice but to give up. All right then. Since you've said so. What else can I say? What a pity. If more people from our family go, we can make a lot of money. Shen Panner finally breathed a sigh of relief. Now she didn't have to do any housework. After dealing with old Zhao's family, Zhao Yin'er went to talk to Nianxi about cooking. Nianxi was overjoyed. At the same time, she felt even more guilty towards Zhao Yin'er. Zhao Yin'er treated her so well, but she actually misunderstood her before. She was really too heartless. He had to make up for it in the future. The other reason why Madame Nian was so happy was that she and Zhao Si had separated from the family and were living independently. The money they earned was theirs, and they didn't need to share it with the other families. Sister-in-law, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Zhao Yin'er said goodbye. After all, she had to go back to cook. She would send it to Mu Lianfeng later. Yes. Go back. Yin'er, I know you're busy. Zhao Yin'er smiled, then turned and left. Watching Zhao Yin'er leave, Nianxi and Zhao Si sighed and said, actually Yin'er is pretty good. Zhao Si said, she's pretty good. Just listen to the rumors in the village. We can only know how a person is after we get to know them. Don't believe what others say. Chapter 506. Yeah, I used to play with Yin, a lot when I was young. She's the kindest girl in my family. Although she got pregnant before marriage, I think there must be a reason. We don't know the situation, so it's hard to say. Speaking of this, Nianxi asked curiously, father of the child, whose child do you think Yin'er is pregnant with? Is it Prince Shixi's? I'm not sure. Daodu and Prince Shixi look quite alike. If Daodu is really Prince Shixi's child, there's one thing I don't understand. Why did Prince Shixi let Yin'er suffer alone with the child for a few years? Zhao Si shook his head. I don't know about that. Maybe there's a reason. We don't know what exactly it is, so we can't guess. Nianxi sighed. I just hope this child is really Prince Shixi's. If that's the case, Yin'er is really lucky. Okay. It didn't take long for Zhao Yin'er to finish cooking. She made a dish of steamed fish head with diced hot red peppers. She bought the fish head from Yang City and brought it back. Mulan asked for the fish body and the fish bubbles. Zhao Yin'er and Mulan saw an old man guarding a stall for a long time. He didn't have much business, so they went over to take care of him and bought one. People in this era probably didn't eat steamed fish head with diced hot red peppers in this way. In ancient times, people in the countryside didn't pay much attention to cooking. Basically, they only put some oil and salt. There wasn't much seasoning at all. She had stayed in Prince Shixi's mansion for a few days. They were quite well behaved when cooking. They didn't put much seasoning. The fish was basically braised, steamed or stewed. This steamed fish head with diced hot red peppers was perfect for Mu Lianfeng to try. Zhao Yin'er made a bowl of meat soup and a bowl of stir-fried shredded potatoes. She ate a little with Daodu at home, then walked to the foot of the mountain with the lunchbox. Zhao Yin'er didn't have time to see what had changed at the foot of the mountain. This was her first time here. There was a large open space at the foot of the mountain. The branches were all cut down, and many tents were set up. Among these tents, there was one that was the most luxurious. Zhao Yin'er didn't have to think about it. That must be where Mu Lianfeng was staying. At this time there were quite a few people moving about. They gathered together, piled up torches, set up pots, and cooked their own food. Zhao Yin'er walked to the front of Mu Lianfeng's tent and called out. After confirming that it was Mu Lianfeng, she walked in. Mu Lianfeng was writing and drawing on a piece of paper. He only put down his pen when Zhao Yin'er came over. Are you hungry? Zhao Yin'er asked. Mu Lianfeng stretched his nose and sniffed. He smiled and said, actually, I wasn't hungry. But after smelling your food, I'm hungry. Zhao Yin'er's lips curled into a smile. Since you're hungry, then eat. I made a few dishes for you. Eat them while they're hot. Mu Lianfeng nodded. Okay. He couldn't wait to open the lunchbox. When he saw the dishes inside, the smile on his face deepened. Yinner, you're so good to me. These dishes look delicious. Try the fish head. How does it taste? Mu Lianfeng nodded. Okay. As he spoke, he picked up his chopsticks and took a bite. He praised, Yinner, it's really delicious. I've never eaten fish head like this. It's spicy, but it's very flavorful. Of course. How can my food not be delicious? I'm afraid that other than me, no one else can think of this method. Chapter 507. Mu Lianfeng sighed in his heart. There were so many women in the world, but there were very few who were as special as Zhao Yin. Hurry up and eat, Zhao Yin said with a smile. Okay. Zhao Yin brought a lot of rice over, and Mu Lianfeng finished it all together with the food. Looking at Mu Lianfeng's appetite, Zhao Yin didn't know what to say. She could only be glad that she could earn some money now, otherwise, she wouldn't be able to support Mu Lianfeng. After Mu Lianfeng was full, he elegantly wiped his mouth and looked like he hadn't had enough. Yinner, it's so delicious. Aren't you afraid that you'll get fat from eating like this? Will I get fat from eating? If you continue eating like this, why won't you? Yinner, then you're afraid that I'll get fat. Of course, you won't look good if you get fat. Then Yinner, do you mind that I'm not good looking? Zhao Yinner thought for a moment and said honestly, it's impossible to say that I don't mind. How many women don't like handsome men? As Zhao Yinner said this, she couldn't help but lift Mu Lianfeng's chin with her hand. She stared at Mu Lianfeng's face, and then clicked her tongue in admiration. What's more, this face is so handsome. In the 21st century, it's simply enough to charm thousands of girls. I think he's more handsome than Liang Chaowei and Takeshi Kaneshiro. Zhao Yinner's teasing trick was used to playing with the fresh meat in the office, and she accidentally used it on Mu Lianfeng again. In Mu Lianfeng's eyes, it was Zhao Yinner who was teasing him. Therefore, he pulled Zhao Yinner over, and Zhao Yinner fell into Mu Lianfeng's arms. Mu Lianfeng sat on the chair, and Zhao Yinner naturally sat on Mu Lianfeng's lap. Mu Lianfeng's sudden movement made Zhao Yinner cry out in surprise. Shu Yinner, don't let the people outside hear us. Only then did Zhao Yinner lower her voice. Mu Lianfeng came over and hugged Zhao Yinner tightly. Just as he was about to kiss Zhao Yinner, a man suddenly entered the tent. Master, I'm here, Emoyan said. As soon as he entered the room, he was shocked by the scene in the room. He probably hasn't seen it before. His master actually had such a flirtatious side, flirting with women like this. Originally, he thought that Mu Lianfeng was an ignorant person. Even if he liked women, he wouldn't do anything to them. However, this somewhat overturned his thoughts. It was completely different from the aloof image he had imagined. Then he looked at the girl in his master's arms. Wasn't this girl? When Mo Yen saw Zhao Yinner, she was slightly surprised. Before Mo Yen could think of anything, Mu Lianfeng's cold voice rang out. Don't you know how to tell me before you come in? Master, I was wrong. I thought you were the only one inside. I just got here, so I was a little excited. Mo Yen tried to explain. Unfortunately, her explanation didn't seem to have much effect. Mu Lianfeng still said, Why haven't you scrammed out yet? Mo Yen clamped her butt and said in a hurry, Master, I'll scram right now. Having disturbed her master's mood, Mo Yen began to worry for her life. After Mo Yen left, Zhao Yinner was still rather embarrassed. She struggled out of Mu Lianfeng's embrace. When did you become so indecent? Because Mo Yen had seen this embarrassing scene, Zhao Yinner's face became as red as a monkey's butt. Chapter 508. What's there to be serious about in front of my wife? Mu Lianfeng said indifferently. That won't do either. We can do it secretly in the room. It's not safe here. It's not suitable for us to do such things, Zhao Yinner said sternly. Mu Lianfeng had no idea whether to laugh or cry. All he could do was say, All right, then let's do it when we get back. Mu Lianfeng said it extremely naturally, but it made Zhao Yinner blush once again. What was this guy saying? You're done eating, so I'll be going back first. Do you still need to work for a while? Zhao Yinner said as she cleared away the dishes. I do need to work for a while, but Yin, Can you stay with me for a while? Mu Lianfeng was rather reluctant to part with Zhao Yun'er like this. Time with the two of them was just too precious to him. Daodu is still at home. I'll be worried if he's alone, Zhao Yun'er said. Although Xiao He and Xiao Mao were with him, and Zhao Yun'er had told Daodu not to go out, it was still not safe for a child to be alone at home. Only when he heard Zhao Yun'er's words did Mu Lianfeng give up on persuading Zhao Yun'er to stay. Zhao Yun'er was important, but his precious son was important as well. Then Yun'er, you should go back. Why don't I send you back first? I'll come back later. There's no need. You're busy. It's not far. I can do it alone. All right then. Yun'er, slow down. Don't worry. I'm more familiar with this place than you. With that, Zhao Yun'er left the tent with the lunchbox. Mo Yin waited outside nervously. She was afraid that Mu Lianfeng would call her in and settle the score with her. Zhao Yun'er arrived before Mo Yin and said, "You can go in now." Yes, Mississippi. Mo Yin suddenly thought of something when she saw that Zhao Yun'er was about to leave. She called out to Zhao Yun'er, "Oh right, Miss Yu. What about me? Are you from this village?" Yes. Zhao Yun'er nodded. What's wrong? Mu Lianfeng pondered for a moment and waved his hand. Nothing. Then I'll leave first. All right, take care, Mississippi. Mo Yin hesitated for a moment before entering the tent. He was worried that Mu Lianfeng would torture him in some strange way. As expected, Mu Lianfeng said after Mo Yin entered, "You better dig out your eyes." Mo Yin was shocked. Her master didn't have to be so cruel, did she? Master, I didn't see anything. Nothing. Yes, master, I didn't see anything. Please let me go. Mu Lianfeng could not help but chuckle when he saw how terrified Mo Yin was. She really was a good-for-nothing. All right, then I won't dig out your eyes. But if you do this again, I'm not sure if I'll let you go. Master, don't worry. I definitely won't do it again. All right. Mu Lianfeng replied indifferently. All right. Mo Yin suddenly thought of something. After a moment of hesitation, she decided to tell Mu Lianfeng. Master, do you remember 3 years ago? What happened 3 years ago? Master, 3 years ago, when you came to Shuilan village to investigate the mines, you were drugged by a beauty sent by the Prime Minister. At that time, I found a girl in the village to deal with you. Mo Yin began to talk about what happened 3 years ago. Mu Lianfeng frowned when he heard that. Something from 3 years ago. He still had some recollection of it, but he really did not know who the girl was, nor did he know where Mo Yin had found her. Chapter 509. You're saying that the girl from that night is in this village right now? Mo Yin nodded. Master, to be more precise, I think that girl is Zhao Yun'er. Mu Lianfeng's heart could not help but tighten when Mo Yin mentioned Zhao Yun'er. He was unable to describe what he was feeling right now. Nervous? Excited? Excited? Disbelief? He thought about it carefully. 3 years ago. Watamist village. His experience with Zhao Yun'er was just too similar. If she really was Zhao Yun'er, then Daodu would be his son. Although he had already regarded Daodu as his own son, the feeling in his heart was still somewhat different from knowing that Daodu was his biological son. Are you sure? Master, this is just my guess. I'll have to ask Li Zheng whether it's true or not. Mo Yin said honestly. 3 years ago, I paid him 200 taels of silver to arrange for a girl to come here. He knew that we were from the imperial court and possessed extraordinary statuses, so he didn't dare to refuse. He found a girl overnight. However, Mu Lianfeng was certain that the girl from that night was Zhao Yun'er. There's no need to ask. It's her. Master. Mo Yin suddenly became rather excited. If it really was Zhao Yun'er, then wouldn't Master really have a son? If the old madam knew about this, wouldn't she be overjoyed? As Mu Lianfeng was excited, he also sighed at the wonders of fate. As it turned out, he and Zhao Yun'er had already been fated 3 years ago. Zhao Yun'er made her way home. It was already dark, so she could only use the moonlight and her familiarity with the terrain to find her way home. When she passed by a large tree, she saw 2 figures huddled together in the distance. Zhao Yun'er walked closer to take a look. It was actually her second uncle and Qian Chuanxiu. Since when were the two of them together? Moreover, it was so late at night. Zhao Yuner was curious and walked closer to the two of them. He was very careful not to make any noise. Zhao Wenshui said to Qian Chuanxiu wretchedly, "Sister-in-law, there's no one here. Let me hug you. I want to hug you." Qian Chuanxiu took a step back warily and said to Zhao Wen, "Zhao family's second son, what are you trying to do?" "Nothing, sister-in-law. I bumped into you when you went out in the middle of the night. This is fate. Don't you think so?" Zhao Wenshui smiled wretchedly. Qian Chuanxiu spat. "What fate? Don't think I don't know. You were the one who followed me secretly." After being exposed by Qian Chuanxiu, Zhao Wenshui still said shamelessly, "Sister-in-law, didn't you let me follow you? Otherwise, you would have exposed me long ago. Now, you deliberately brought me to a place with no one around, so that something could happen between the two of us, right?" Qian Chuanxiu couldn't help but curse at Zhao Wenshui. "Zhao Wenshui, why are you so shameless? Who wants something to happen between us? Is there something wrong with your brain?" "Aya's sister-in-law," Zhao Wenshui called out, and took another step forward. Qian Chunhua was so frightened that she immediately retreated, but Zhao Wenshui still caught her. Zhao Wenshui hugged Qian Chuanxiu and said, "Sister-in-law, let me hug you. You smell so good." Chapter 510. Zhao Wenshui chuckled. "Sister-in-law, it's the middle of the night, and there's no one around. Who can hear you?" Qian Chuanxiu was furious. She couldn't shout for help, and Zhao Wenshui couldn't push this bastard away. What should she do? Looking at Zhao Wenshui's expression, she guessed that he was determined to do something to her. Although Zhao Wenshui was good-looking, she wasn't a loose woman. She couldn't let him take advantage of her, right? Zhao Wenshui rubbed his face against Qian Chuanxiu's body and smiled wretchedly. "Sister-in-law, your man has been gone for many years. Haven't you thought about that? You shameless B*****. How can you ask such a question?" Zhao Wenshui was shameless. How could he be embarrassed to ask such a question? "Sister-in-law, women need men to touch them often. Otherwise, your moo of land will be wasted. Since your man is gone, let me do it. Sister-in-law, why don't you try my work? I promise you'll be satisfied." Zhao Wenhua's shameless words made Qian Chuanxiu embarrassed and angry. "Bah! Don't mess around with me. I won't let you plow my land even if it's wasted." With that, Qian Chuanxiu spat on Zhao Wenhua's face. Zhao Wenshui wiped his face but didn't dislike it. "Sister-in-law, let me kiss your little mouth. I want to know what it tastes like." Qian Chuanxiu didn't know what to do when she saw Zhao Wenshui's face coming closer. "You bastard! You're defiling a woman. I'll report you to the village chief later." Qian Chuanxiu's threat didn't work at all. Zhao Wenshui said, "Sister-in-law, there's no one here. No one saw anything. You don't even have a witness if you want to report me. Who would believe you?" Qian Chuanxiu was a little desperate. This damn pervert. Of all people, why did he have to target her? Now there was no one to help him. Was he really going to be bullied by Zhao Wenshui? A widow's door was full of trouble. Over the years, many men had come to her house in the middle of the night. No man came. She held the kitchen knife and fought with her life. Those who were afraid of death naturally didn't dare to come. But now, who would have thought that at such an old age he would fall again? She was already 36 this year. She couldn't be compared to a young woman a few years ago. Zhao Wenshui saw that Qian Chuanxiu was angry and comforted her. "Sister-in-law, you don't have to feel so wronged. Don't worry, if you follow me, you won't have any disadvantages. I heard that you wanted to cook for those miners, but Yuner girl made you lose this opportunity. How about this? I'll go back and talk to my niece, and let her arrange for you to go in. What do you think?" When Qian Chuanxiu heard Zhao Wenshui's words, she was a little tempted. In fact, she hadn't been slept with by a man for so many years. It wasn't that she didn't want to, but she knew that if she hooked up with another man and the villagers found out, she wouldn't be able to stay in Shuilan village anymore. Now that Zhao Wenshui hugged her like this, her body reacted a little. If Zhao Wenshui could help her get the cooking job, she would agree. Is what you said true? Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you? But will your words work in front of your niece? Chapter 5:11. Okay then. Seeing that Qian Chuanxiu was convinced, Zhao Wenshui couldn't wait any longer and pushed Qian Chuanxiu to the ground. There was soft grass on the ground, so it wasn't uncomfortable. Zhao Wenshui quickly took off his clothes and began to take off Qian Chuanxiu's clothes. Seeing Zhao Wenshui so impatient, Qian Chuanxiu couldn't help but say, "Why do you look like you haven't done it in a long time? Don't you have a wife at home?" Speaking of this, Zhao Wenshui explained as he took off his clothes, "Sister-in-law, you don't know this. My wife is not as beautiful as you. Sometimes I can't bear to do it. Also, there's only one room at home, so it's not convenient to do it. The children at home are all grown up." I see. Qian Chuanxiu thought about Li Chuiying's appearance. He was indeed a little ugly. He was not as beautiful as her. When she was young, she was considered one of the top girls in the entire Shuilan village. Otherwise, so many men wouldn't have come to her door after her husband died. After Zhao Wenshui took off their clothes, he began to do it. He breathed heavily and said comfortably, "Sister-in-law, your land is still the best. It's so fertile that people have died from it." Qian Chuanxiu was also pleasured by Zhao Wenhua and began to moan comfortably. Anyway, there was no one in the field, and no one would pass by when it was dark. Therefore, their moans were a little louder and louder. Zhao Yin-er, who was hiding behind the tree, watched the exciting live broadcast. She almost couldn't digest it. These two, were they having an affair? Looking at the two people doing improper things on the ground, Zhao Yin-er couldn't help but sigh. If her second aunt saw this, I don't know what kind of trouble she would make. Thinking about it, it was a little funny. Zhao Yin-er didn't intend to disturb these two people, so she left quietly. When she got home, Douda leaned on the table to learn how to read. Looking at her son's strange behavior at home, Zhao Yin'er's mouth also raised a smile. Zhao Yin'er originally wanted to wait for Mu Lianfeng to come back, but she was tired. Mu Lianfeng showed no signs of coming back, so she went to bed first. She still had to wake up the next day, so she couldn't stay up too late. When Mu Lianfeng came back and saw that Zhao Yin'er was fast asleep, he didn't have the heart to wake her up. He wanted to talk about what happened 3 years ago tomorrow. It wasn't urgent anyway. On the other side, family Zhu. After Mulan and Zhu Eru finished that thing, they were a little satisfied, but they were very happy. As usual, Mulan felt that someone was staring at the house. Thus he whispered into Zhu Eru's ear. "Eru, go and see who it is. Be quiet. Don't alarm him." Zhu Eru nodded. Afraid that the person outside would see that there was nothing in the house, Mulan continued to let out soft panting sounds. At the same time, Zhu Eru walked to the side of the door. Suddenly, the door opened. The person outside the door was completely caught off guard. Who would have thought that the door would suddenly open? He was so scared that he hurriedly ran away. Zhu Eru didn't give him a chance to run away. He grabbed the person. He couldn't see clearly from afar. After grabbing hold of the person, Zhu Eru was stunned. It wasn't just anyone. It was his third brother, Zhu Sanlu. Zhu Eru frowned. He thought about why his third brother wasn't lying in bed to recuperate. Why did he come to his door in the middle of the night? "Third brother, what are you doing?" Chapter 5:12. Zhu Eru's eyes sharpened. How could he believe Zhu Sanlu's nonsense? "If you didn't do anything, why did you come to my house in the middle of the night?" Zhu Eru's aura was so strong that Zhu Sanlu trembled in fear. It was mainly because Zhu Eru had a psychological shadow after stepping on his crotch last time. "Second brother, I really didn't do anything. If you don't tell me the truth, you'll have a taste of my fist." Mulan also ran out and saw Zhu Sanlu. Sure enough, there really were people who were peeking. It was her uncle again. She didn't know what he was doing. "Second brother, lower your voice. If you promise that I won't tell you, I'll tell you if you don't hit me." Zhu Eru glared at Zhu Sanlu. "You know how to negotiate with me. Second brother. Actually, I really didn't do anything. I just peeked into your house. I didn't do anything. Zhu Sanlu curled his lips with an aggrieved expression. You just peeked? Tell me. What were you looking at in the middle of the night? Tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth, I'll gouge out both of your eyeballs. Zhu Sanlu didn't think that Zhu Eru was joking with him. He could only tremble and say, Second brother. I can't do it myself. I just wanted to see how you and second sister-in-law did it. I can't eat meat, but it's good to have a look. After Zhu Sanlu finished speaking, Mulan's face suddenly turned red with embarrassment. Thinking about how the three of them had seen her doing it with her man, and how they had watched the whole process, Mulan felt extremely shy. Although the room was a little dark and he couldn't see clearly, Zhu Sanlu could hear all the sounds they made while they were doing it. Wasn't this eavesdropping on others? Wasn't this too perverted? Before Mulan could get angry, Zhu Eru kicked Zhu Sanlu. He began to scold. Our family works hard to support your education, but you think about these dirty things every day. Our money is wasted on you. How can you face us? Zhu Sanlu cried out in pain. Ouch, second brother. I never said that I wanted to study. Weren't you the ones who forced me to go? Studying is so boring. All I do is memorize. It's not easy to become an elementary scholar. Not everyone can pass the exam. Zhu Sanlu said. He rubbed his chest. His second brother's kick was really ruthless. He couldn't even stand up. Fortunately, she didn't continue to kick him down there. Otherwise he would really die. How can you say such things? You must be raising a beast at home. The more Zhu Eru thought about it, the angrier he became. However, it was fortunate that they had split up, otherwise he would probably be even angrier. Second brother, can you lower your voice? Don't wake the others up. Zhu Eru said coldly to Zhu Sanlu on the ground. Are you afraid of being found out? I've never seen someone as shameless as you. I don't care about your studies, but if I catch you peeking or eavesdropping again, I'll really gouge your eyeballs out. Second brother. I won't do it again. I won't listen to you next time. Zhu Sanlu raised his hand and swore. If he couldn't eavesdrop on his second brother and second sister-in-law, then he could eavesdrop on his eldest brother and sister-in-law next time. He wasn't that stupid to take Zhu Eru's fist. Looking at his younger brother's cowardly appearance, Zhu Eru was so angry that he kicked Zhu Sanlu's body again. Mulan and Zhu Eru turned around and entered the room. Chapter 513. Third brother has been spoiled since he was young. He used to be young and didn't understand these things between men and women. Now that he's grown up, I don't know where he heard it from. He's probably curious. After all, he doesn't have a wife, so he can't study it with his wife. He can only look at other people's books, Zhu Eru said. This was his analysis in his heart, and it wasn't much different from the truth. Zhu Sanlu was like this because firstly, he was getting older. Secondly, when he was studying in town, he saw the other young masters buying pornographic books to read. Out of curiosity, he bought one too. Once he started reading, he couldn't stop himself. He was addicted to it all day long. And then he became more curious about the things between men and women. Eru sigh, I still feel uncomfortable. We should save money as soon as possible. When the time comes, we can build a new house and move out. There won't be so many problems. Lana, I'll work hard. Don't worry. And Mulan responded and burrowed into her man's arms. She believed in him. The next morning, Zhao Yin'er took Zhao Ping'er to the street. Because it was her first blind date, Zhao Ping'er could be said to be dressed up. She put on the new clothes, smeared a lot of white powder on her face, and used red paper to touch her lips. Zhao Yin'er couldn't describe this feeling of Zhao Ping. She clearly looked like a clown, but Zhao Ping'er probably thought that she looked good in her heart. Was she sure that this appearance wouldn't scare people? If she were to scare someone to death, this marriage would be ruined. She didn't know how long Zhao Ping'er would stay at home. Zhao Yin'er thought about it and still said to Zhao Ping'er, Sister Ping'er, come cover your face with this handkerchief. This way he won't see the birthmark on your face. Look at half of your face, you're still a beauty. Since he said that he doesn't care about your appearance, then don't show it to him. What if you like him and he's not satisfied with your appearance? Why don't they just cover their faces and wait for the other party to agree? Once the marriage is settled, they won't have a chance to regret it. Don't you think so? Zhao Ping felt that what Zhao Yin'er said made sense. She was not ugly even if she covered half of her face with the birthmark. Is that all right? I'll blindfold it, Zhao Ping said as she took it. Yes. After Zhao Ping covered her face, she did look much better. Zhao Yin'er breathed a sigh of relief. If she went on a blind date like this, she should be able to muddle through. The car drove towards Yang City. Zhao Ping was very excited along the way. When they arrived at Yang City, Zhao Ping took care of the stall first. The man hadn't arrived yet. Matchmaker Tua Gao had also told her in her message that the man could come directly to her breakfast stand. Her stall was quite famous in Yang City, so she could find it by asking anyone. The three of them were busy in front of the breakfast stand. Zhao Ping looked around anxiously, craning her head from time to time as she waited for the man to come. When Zhao Yin'er saw Zhao Ping's expression, she really didn't know what to say. Didn't this woman know how to be more reserved? Fortunately, there were no outsiders around. If the women in the village saw this, they would probably gossip again. Sigh, it's been so long. Why isn't he here yet? Mother, is he not coming? Zhao Ping asked after waiting for half an hour. Chapter 5:14. Zhao Ping stomped her feet anxiously and said, Mother, but I've been waiting for so long. Then how long do you have? Ping, don't be anxious. Just wait a little longer. He'll definitely come. But, Zhao Ping wanted to say something, but Zhao Yin'er was annoyed by her and replied, Sister Ping, why are you in such a hurry? He doesn't have a donkey carriage, so he can only come here on an ox cart. It's normal for him to be a little late. Sigh. Zhao Ping sighed and said, I'll wait a little longer then. Okay. After about an hour, Matchmaker Gao came over with a delicate-looking boy. The boy was in his early 20s. He was fair, clean, and very good-looking. He followed behind Matchmaker Gao and seemed a little shy. The moment she saw Matchmaker Gao, she knew that the boy behind her was Zhao Ping's blind date today. Zhao Yin'er glanced at him and felt that he was not bad. He was more than enough to match Zhao Ping. If it weren't for the fact that he was poor, Zhao Ping probably wouldn't have been able to marry him. When the two of them were together, it felt like a fresh flower stuck in a pile of cow dung. Of course, the fresh flower belonged to this man, and the cow dung belonged to Zhao Ping. Zhao Yin'er was relieved. Zhao Ping definitely wouldn't reject such a good-looking boy. The marriage was more or less set in stone. Matchmaker Gao walked over with a smile and said, Haha, I've brought him here. This child is afraid of strangers and I was afraid that he wouldn't know, so I accompanied him. Liang Jinxiao gestured for Matchmaker Gao and the boy to sit down. He specially reserved a table for them. Matchmaker Gao tugged at the boy and said, Qin Yuan, come and sit down. Qin Yuan nodded shyly and responded. Zhao Ping's heart thumped nonstop when she saw such a good-looking man. He lowered his head even more. She thought to herself that Matchmaker Gao wasn't lying. This man was really good-looking. Liang Jinxiao saw that Zhao Ping was standing shyly at the side and did not come over. He hurriedly urged her. Pinger girl, what are you thinking about? Come here quickly. After being called by Liang Jinxiao, Zhao Ping walked over bashfully. Mother, hurry up and come over. You two can have a chat and have some breakfast first. Zhao Ping had eaten earlier, but Matchmaker Gao and Qin Yuan hadn't eaten yet. Zhao Yin'er was not stingy. She took a lot of delicious food from the stall to entertain the two people. Matchmaker Gao, the two of you must be hungry. Eat something first and let the two children chat. Matchmaker Gao nodded with a smile. Naturally, she wouldn't refuse. The aroma of the breakfast had already drawn out the glutton in her stomach. Qin Yuan was embarrassed at first, but seeing that Matchmaker Gao was not standing on ceremony, he couldn't be too restrained and started eating with Matchmaker Gao. Matchmaker Gao was like a pig. She ate a lot of food by herself. Zhao Yin'er was a little disdainful, but she didn't miss the food. She ate it anyway. She wouldn't have to entertain her that many times in the future. Matchmaker Gao saw that Zhao Yun'er's business was doing well. She smiled and said, "It looks like you two make a lot of money in a day." Liang Jinxiao smiled and said, "It's okay. It's better than farming in the countryside." Chapter 5:15. As Matchmaker Gao spoke, she whispered into Qin Yuan's ear. "Qin Yuan, did you see that? She's managing this stall and her family is very rich. If you marry this girl, her family will definitely have a lot of dowry. By then, your family won't be so poor anymore." Qin Yuan listened to Matchmaker Gao's words and nodded. "I understand, Auntie Gao. Thank you for helping me." It's fine, it's fine. You don't have to be so formal with me. Later, have a good talk with that girl. You have to make sure she's satisfied." "Got it, Auntie Gao." Qin Yuan also glanced at Zhao Ping a few times. He saw that Zhao Ping was indeed quite good-looking. The half of her face that was exposed was quite pretty. Although he didn't know what the other half of her face was like, it shouldn't be too bad. Even if it was bad, there was no way around it. It was not easy to marry a wife and even have a dowry. Zhao Ping blushed when Qin Yuan glanced at her. This man was actually looking at her. She didn't know what his impression of her was, but she was very satisfied. After Matchmaker Gao and Qin Yuan finished eating, Matchmaker Gao asked Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping to walk around Yang City. They could chat more freely without anyone around them. "Ping, you two go ahead." Liang Jinxiao also urged. Seeing Zhao Ping's shy face, he guessed that she was too embarrassed to go. "Oh, Miss Ping, let's go." Qin Yuan's pleasant voice rang out, making Zhao Ping's heart flutter again. Zhao Ping replied shyly, "Okay." Then, she followed behind Qin Yuan and walked away shyly. Zhao Yun looked at the two of them and felt that they were about the same. Matchmaker Gao continued to sit in Zhao Yun's shop and chatted with Liang Jinxiao. When Zhao Yun closed the stall, Zhao Ping and Qin Yuan also came back. Matchmaker Gao left with Qin Yuan, and Zhao Yun and her family drove the donkey back. On the way, Liang Jinxiao asked about Zhao Ping's opinion. "Ping, what do you think? Are you satisfied with this person? If you agree, I'll go back and talk to Matchmaker Gao, and our families will settle the marriage." Zhao Ping nodded shyly. "Mother, I think it's pretty good. It's fine as long as you think it's a good idea. Ping, it's settled then. Don't say that mother casually married you off." "Mom, I won't. I think Qin Yuan is pretty good." "Haha, that's good." Zhao Yun hooked up the corner of her mouth and finally solved one of her worries. When Zhao Ping got married, there would be one less scourge in the family. She reckoned that their lives would be better. On the other side, Qin Yuan and Matchmaker Gao were sitting in the bullock cart. Matchmaker Gao asked Qin Yuan for his opinion. Qin Yuan explained honestly, "Although I think she's a little silly, a little stupid, and maybe a little ugly according to what you said, she's still a little silly. Everything else is fine." "Auntie Gao, can her family really give her a lot of dowry?" "Of course. Didn't you see how good her breakfast stall's business is? They can probably earn 1 or 2 taels a day. Once his daughter gets married, he'll have to compensate at least a few taels, right?" Hearing Matchmaker Gao's words, Qin Yuan agreed. "All right then. Auntie Gao, we'll have to trouble you to help our families arrange this marriage." Matchmaker Gao chuckled. All right, I'll help you arrange it. When the time comes, your families can set a date and arrange this marriage." Chapter 5:16. When Zhao Ping returned home, Mu Lianfeng and Daodu were both in the room. Seeing that Zhao Yun had returned, Daodu ran over excitedly and said to Zhao Yun, Mother, Daodu is not a wild child. He has a father." Zhao Yun was stunned. Didn't this child already acknowledge Mu Lianfeng as his godfather? Every day his father would come and go. Why did he suddenly say this? "I know," Zhao Yun replied with a smile. She pointed at Mu Lianfeng and said, "Isn't this your father?" Daoda's little brows furrowed. He nodded and shook his head. "Mother, this father is Daoda's father, but he is also Daoda's biological father." Zhao Yun felt confused by Daoda's words. Daodu mother doesn't understand. Daoda sighed. He seemed a little sad that he couldn't explain it. He could only look at Mu Lianfeng for help. Mu Lianfeng walked in front of Zhao Yin and said to Zhao Yin, Yin, 3 years ago, the person who made you pregnant with Daodu was me. Daodu is our flesh and blood. Zhao Yin was stunned. What did Mu Lianfeng say? Daodu was their flesh and blood? The person from 3 years ago was him? Seeing that Zhao Yin was stunned, Mu Lianfeng explained in detail what happened 3 years ago. Zhao Yin finally understood. She sighed in her heart. She didn't know who Daoda's father was, and she didn't want to know. She didn't want Daoda's father to be found. But she never expected that this person was Mu Lianfeng. Yin, our fate is destined by the heavens. No matter how long it takes, I will still return to your side. Mu Lianfeng said to Zhao Yin, affectionately. Yin, in the future, I will protect you and Daodu. I will never let the two of you suffer any grievances. Trust me, when the mine is finished, I will marry you and give you a grand wedding. I will make up for all the grievances you suffered in the past. I want everyone to know that you are marrying me in a grand manner. Daodu is our child, not a wild child. He is a noble little heir. As he said, Mu Lianfeng said this, he excitedly pulled Zhao Yin into his arms. It would be a lie if she said she wasn't a little. Zhao Yin felt rather fortunate that the person back then was Mu Lianfeng. Okay. Zhao Yin replied. Thank you, Yin. Mu Lianfeng said. Actually, he felt guilty for all the grievances Zhao Yin and Daodu had suffered in the past 3 years. Fortunately, Zhao Yin didn't blame him. Otherwise, he wouldn't know what to do. Looking at the smiles on Daodu and Mu Lianfeng's faces, Zhao Yin suddenly felt very happy. After a moment of warmth, Zhao Yin began to prepare lunch. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng had a lot of free time today, she asked curiously why he suddenly didn't have anything to do. Mo Yin is here. I've left everything to him. He'll take care of it. Really? Yeah. He's very capable, so this won't be a problem for him. It's not a big deal anyway, Mu Lianfeng said easily. However, Mo Yin was complaining incessantly on the mountain. If she knew that Mu Lianfeng actually said it wasn't a big deal, she would probably die from anger. Chapter 5:17. Zhao Yin nodded. So that was the case. With someone helping Mu Lianfeng would obviously be much more relaxed. If you have time, call him over for a meal. It definitely won't be good to eat with so many people. It's fine. He's easy to take care of. Just feed him some food. The corner of Zhao Yin's mouth twitched slightly. Mu Lianfeng really was quite heartless as a master. Mo Yin suddenly felt a layer of coldness on the mountain top. This bad feeling made him very uncomfortable. All right then. Mu Lianfeng's lips curled, because he still remembered what happened last night. That fellow had suddenly ruined his mood, so he had to punish him properly. If Mo Yin knew what Mu Lianfeng was thinking right now, he probably would not have entered the tent even if he was beaten to death. After lunch, Mulan and Liang Jinxiao came over again. This time, Mu Lianfeng was present, so they could not help but feel a little restrained. Zhao Yin sighed when she saw how bashful Mulan and Liang Jinxiao were. She could only let Mu Lianfeng leave and take Daodu out to play. That way, Mulan and Liang Jinxiao would not feel too uncomfortable. Mu Lianfeng felt like he had been disliked, but there was nothing he could do. He left with Daodu. Mulan and Liang Jinxiao both let out a sigh of relief after Mu Lianfeng left. Zhao Yin smiled. Mother, sister-in-law Mulan, do you seem a little afraid of him? Mulan's lips twitched. Yin, he's the young master. His status is noble. There's no reason for us not to be afraid. Yeah, Yin, the young master is different from us after all. We just feel uncomfortable in the same room. What's wrong with the crown prince? Isn't he just an ordinary person? Mother, sister-in-law Mulan, you don't have to be too afraid of him. Look at how obedient he is now. When I asked him to go out, he went out obediently. Liang Jinxiao and Mulan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Mu Lianfeng listened to Zhao Yin because he liked Zhao Yin. Ordinary people like them didn't dare to say a word in front of Mu Lianfeng. After Mu Lianfeng brought Daodu out, they strolled around the village. Daodu introduced Mu Lianfeng as his biological father, and that he was not a wild child. Dao Du was naturally very satisfied with Mu Lianfeng's tall and strong father. Mu Lianfeng also let Dao Du do as he pleased. In fact, he was more than happy to be introduced by Dao Du. He wanted everyone to know that Dao Du had such a cool and powerful father. He wanted to see who would dare to bully Dao Du and laugh at Dao Du in the future. After Dao Du was so proud of himself that he actually gave a few less children, he bumped into Zhao Tianyu on the way. "You wild child, stop lying. What do you mean by your father? Don't just randomly use a person. Who doesn't know that your mother and a wild man gave birth to you?" Zhao Tianyu said sarcastically. Actually, he was only saying this because he was jealous of Dao Du. After all, Mu Lianfeng was tall, handsome and rich. Everyone wanted a father like him. If it was someone else, it would be fine. However, it was Dao Du, whom he had always bullied. Dao Du glared at Zhao Tianyu angrily. "This is my father. Don't talk nonsense. Who can prove that he's your father?" That's right, Dao Du muttered. Zhao Tianyu said sarcastically. Dao Du, stop dreaming. A little wild child will always be a little wild child. You'll always be a little wild child. Dao Du was so angry that he cried. Chapter 518. After hearing Mu Lianfeng's words, Dao Du stopped crying. He wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and replied, "Daddy is right. Dao Du is a man. He can't cry so easily. Dao Du is the best." Mu Lianfeng praised. He was indeed his good son. Sometimes if you can't talk it out, you can use force to solve it. Daddy is right behind you. What are you afraid of? Mu Lianfeng encouraged him. If anyone dares to bully you next time, beat them to death. Daddy will take responsibility if anything happens. When Dao Du heard this, he nodded heavily. Daddy, Dao Du understands. Zhao Yin'er was not beside them. If Zhao Yin'er knew about this, she would probably not know whether to laugh or cry. This Mu Lianfeng was even encouraging his children to fight. When Dao Du heard Mu Lianfeng's words, he glared at Zhao Tianyu. He rolled up his sleeves and began to fight with Zhao Tianyu. "I won't allow you to talk about me like that. See if I don't beat you to death." Zhao Tianyu was naturally not afraid of Dao Du's weak body. He gently pushed Dao Du back, and Dao Du sat on the ground. However, Dao Du did not cry this time. "Dao Du, get up," Mu Lianfeng said. Yes. After Dao Du got up again, he rushed towards Zhao Tianyu. This time, he directly grabbed Zhao Tianyu's arm and bit down hard. "Ah, it hurts," Zhao Tianyu cried. Just as he was about to punch and kick Dao Du, Mu Lianfeng pulled Dao Du over and protected Dao Du in his arms. Mu Lianfeng slapped Zhao Tianyu, and Zhao Tianyu was slapped to the ground. He could not even get up. Zhao Tianyu felt wronged and cried, "Wah!" Seeing Zhao Tianyu being beaten up so badly, Dao Du chuckled. He felt that Zhao Tianan deserved it. Although Mu Lianfeng should not be so calculative with a child, he was such a protective person. Whoever bullied his son, no matter who it was, he would not let them off. "Dao Du is amazing and brave. With Daddy here, Dao Du is not afraid," Dao Du said with a smile. Looking at this son of his, Mu Lianfeng's heart was filled with guilt. Based on the current situation, Dao Du had been bullied by the children in the village a lot in the past. Fortunately, he would always be by Dao Du's side in the future, and would never let him suffer any grievances. Brother Tianyu is the worst. He used to bully Dao Du all the time. Dao Du is so happy to be beaten by you today, Dao Du said in a soft voice. "Is that so?" Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Tianyu on the ground, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Yes. In that case, Daddy will continue to teach him a lesson for you." Zhao Yin'er had just finished her work when she saw Li Chuiying coming over crying. As soon as she saw her, she threw herself in front of Zhao Yin'er and begged, "Yin'er, I beg you, please save my Tianyu. Otherwise he will be beaten to death." Zhao Yin'er was a little confused. What did it have to do with her that Zhao Tianyu was beaten up? Why did Li Chuiying come over to beg her? Second aunt, what's the matter? How would I know what happened if you came over without any reason? Zhao Yin'er replied indifferently. Chapter 519. Zhao Yun'er was even more confused. When did Mu Lianfeng go to teach Zhao Tianyu a lesson? Yun'er girl, I beg you. We wronged you in the past. Auntie will never speak ill of you in the future. As long as you can save my Tianyu. Li Chuiying cried pitifully. Zhao Yun'er didn't understand the specific situation, so she couldn't immediately agree. She believed that Mu Lianfeng must have his own reasons for doing so. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er didn't say anything, Li Chuiying begged Liang Jinxiao, third sister-in-law, please help me persuade Yun'er girl. I only have one precious son, Tianyu. If something happens to him, I don't want to live. Seeing that Li Chuiying was crying so pitifully, Liang Jinxiao sighed and helped Li Chuiying to plead. Yun'er, please help second aunt. Zhao Yun'er frowned. Take me there first. Okay. Li Chuiying hurriedly responded and led Zhao Yun'er away. When Zhao Yun'er arrived, she didn't see that Mu Lianfeng was beating or scolding Zhao Tianyu. Instead, Zhao Tianyu was kneeling on the ground with a thorny thorn in front of him. What was going on? Zhao Yun'er walked over and asked, What are you? Mother, father is helping Dao to teach brother Tianyu a lesson. But I didn't see you do anything. Father said that brother Tianyu has to do it himself. He has to take the thorn on the ground and hit himself until father is satisfied. Only then will he let brother Tianyu go. But brother Tianyu still doesn't dare to hit himself. Dao explained. This? Zhao Yun'er was a bit cruel. When the thorny thorn stabbed him, there would be bloody marks on his body. It was no wonder that Li Chuiying came crying, fearing that her son would be beaten to death. Indeed, he could not withstand such torment. Zhao Tianyu knelt on the ground and cried. When he saw Li Chuiying coming over, he cried even louder. Although Li Chuiying felt sorry for Zhao Tianyu, she didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of the Shitzi. My son, if you don't make a move, you'll have to keep kneeling here until you hit yourself. Only then will I let you go. Since we can't escape, we might as well finish him off quickly, Mu Lianfeng said to Zhao Tianyu, who was lying on the ground. Ouch. You have to take responsibility for your actions when you bullied others. When you bullied Dao, why didn't you think that Dao was in pain too? Zhao Tianyu blinked his eyes. A 6-year-old child's mind was somewhat mature. He knew that he wouldn't be able to escape today, but he really didn't dare to prick himself with those thorny thorns. Yun'er girl, please beg the Shitzi to let Tianyu go. Li Chuiying tugged at Zhao Yun'er's skirt. Zhao Yun'er looked at Mu Lianfeng's cold and handsome face. He had finally stood up for her son. What good would it do for her to interfere? Second aunt, you should be glad that the Shitzi didn't kill Tianyu and only punished him. Don't you know that Dao is the Shitzi's biological son? Not only did Tianyu call Dao a little bastard, he even bullied Dao. The Shitzi's punishment isn't too severe, right? When Zhao Yun'er's words came out, everyone present was stunned. Yun'er girl, what are you saying? Dao really is the Shitzi's biological son. Chapter 520. This. Li Chuiying wasn't an idiot. She naturally understood the consequences of Dao being Mu Lianfeng's son. She didn't know the specifics, but Mu Lianfeng definitely had his reasons for protecting Dao and Zhao Yun. She sighed helplessly and said to Zhao Tianyu, Tianyu, just hit yourself a few times. If you don't, mother won't be able to save you. Woo mother, it'll only hurt for a while. It'll be fine soon. Mother. Good. Once you're done, mother will buy you some candy. Zhao Tianyu was afraid of Mu Lianfeng and was persuaded by Li Chuiying. In the end, he picked up the thorn and hit himself a few times. Mu Lianfeng wanted to punish the chicken to warn the monkey, so he didn't pursue the matter. From today onwards, no child would dare to say that Dao was a bastard or bully Dao. Let's go, Dao. If anyone bullies you next time, just call them Daddy. Daddy will help you teach them a lesson no matter what. Okay. Dao cheered. Mu Lianfeng finally lifted Dao up and placed Dao on his shoulder. Looking at the big and small shadows on the ground, Zhao Yun'er felt a touch of warmth in her heart. From now on, there was one more person who stood up to protect Dao. It made her feel that no matter how difficult the road ahead was, she was no longer alone. Mother, Come quickly, let's go home. Dowda turned his head and called out to Zhao Yin'er. Okay, mother will come right away, Zhao Yin'er said as she caught up with the father and son. Nothing major happened over the next few days. The men in town were gradually recruited to work in the mountains. Zhao Ping's marriage had reached a point where it was being discussed. Matchmaker Gao sent someone over to say that the man had agreed and was preparing for the wedding. The woman could also prepare. A few days later, the man's parents and Qin Yuan came to Shuilan village with things. Yin, let's eat together at noon. Matchmaker Gao said that the man will come over later in the day and have lunch at our house. Your Jie's marriage is a big deal. It's best if all of our family is present. You're smart, you can help them deal with whatever they say. Liang Jinxiao said to Zhao Yun, on's on the way back from Yang City. Mu Lianfeng was having lunch on the mountain today. If he didn't come back, she could bring Dowda to Liang Jinxiao's place. So she replied, Okay mother, I'll help you cook later. Since they're here, they're guests after all. We have to make some delicious food to entertain them. Xiao, S's Tu's marriage, SST. Otherwise, if this marriage is ruined, it will be difficult to find another one for your sister Ping. That's right. It wasn't easy to find a man who was willing to marry Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping was also satisfied with him. It would be a pity if the marriage failed. Xiao didn't have the energy to worry about Zhao Ping's marriage. After returning to Shuilan village, Zhao Yun put down her things and went straight to old Zhao's house. The man's family had already arrived. Qin Yuan's parents were about the same age as Zhao Yin'er's parents. However, because they were poorer than old Zhao's family and had more land to manage, they looked much older. They were dark and skinny and looked like honest people. They had just arrived. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao asked them to sit down. Ping pour them a glass of water. What are you doing? Liang Jinxiao urged. Zhao Ping reacted and immediately did as Liang Jinxiao instructed. Chapter 521. After all, they were her future in-laws. She had to leave a good impression on them. Uncle, Aunt, you must be thirsty. Have some water. Zhao Ping poured 2 glasses of water and handed them over. The Qin couple smiled and took the glasses. Okay. Thank you. You're such a good child. Zhao Ping blushed slightly after being praised by the Qin couple. Zhao Ping then poured another glass for Qin Yuan and said, Brother Yuan, this is for you. Qin Yuan also took the glass and smiled at Zhao Ping. Thank you, Ping. You're welcome. We're going to be a family in the future. Why are you being so courteous? After Zhao Ping finished speaking, everyone present burst into laughter. The Qin couple said, That's right. After the 2 children get married, we're going to be a family. Why are you being so courteous? You guys continue chatting. I'm going to the kitchen to cook, Liang Jinxiao said. Sorry to trouble you, sister-in-law, Qin Yuan's mother said. Liang Jinxiao smiled slightly. No problem. Mother, I'll help you too. Zhao Yin'er followed her mother. The mother and daughter could also hear the commotion in the house. Zhao Yin'er had prepared a lot of meat dishes. There was meat, fish, and all kinds of vegetables. In the countryside, even the new year might not necessarily be so delicious. In order to satisfy everyone, Zhao Yin'er personally cooked this meal. Her culinary skills were much better than Liang Jinxiao's. Moreover, she could stir-fry each ingredient in different ways. After a while, a fragrant smell wafted from the kitchen. The fragrance of the dishes floated all the way to the 3rd branch's house. When the Qin family smelled the alluring fragrance of the dishes, they couldn't help but swallow their saliva. No wonder matchmaker Gao said that the bride's family was well-to-do. If they weren't well-to-do, they wouldn't be willing to eat such good food. The Qin couple smiled and said to Zhao Wenhua, You're too polite. You're even treating us like this. It makes us feel a little embarrassed. After all, we didn't bring much. Our family is too poor. We can't afford anything. Otherwise, we would definitely bring the best for you. Zhao Wenhua waved his hand and said, It's fine as long as he's here. As long as the intention was there. It didn't matter how many things there were. These days, The lives of us commoners aren't easy. Who doesn't have a difficult time? The Qin couple nodded in agreement. They thought that Zhao Wenhua was a reasonable person. It was naturally good to be in laws with such a person. You must be tired after such a long journey. You can have a good meal later. My second daughter's cooking skills are pretty good, Zhao Wenhua said with a smile. With Zhao Wenhua's words and the occasional fragrance from the kitchen, the Qin family became even more impatient. They couldn't wait to eat immediately. Their family was poor and they couldn't even afford to eat rice, let alone these things. Oh right, it's almost time to eat. Ping. Or do you want to take off the veil on your face? Otherwise, it won't be convenient for us to eat. Also, we haven't seen what Ping looks like, Qin Yuan's mother said. She was curious about Zhao Ping's appearance under the veil. Matchmaker Gao said that she was ugly, but with the veil, she didn't look that ugly. When Qin Yuan's mother said this, Zhao Ping became a little nervous. She could escape today, but she couldn't always wear a veil when she married into the family. She prepared herself. I'm not good looking. I'm afraid I'll scare you. Chapter 522. Zhao Ping was relieved after hearing the Zhao couple's words. Qin Yuan had always said that he didn't care about her appearance, so Zhao Ping took off the handkerchief on her face bashfully. The family Qin's people, who had said that they didn't care, were stunned when they saw Zhao Ping's appearance. The family Qin's people thought that Zhao Ping was just ugly, but they didn't expect Zhao Ping to be so ugly. The obvious birthmark on her face was a little shocking. They really didn't want to look at it a second time after seeing it. If they married her, they would have to face it every day. How could they stand it? The Qin couple pulled the corners of their mouths awkwardly. They didn't particularly mind it, but their son, they didn't want to scare him when they slept on the same bed in the future. The Qin couple glanced at Qin Yuan. Seeing that Qin Yuan's expression wasn't very good, he stared at Zhao Ping's face with a trace of disdain in his eyes. The Qin couple coughed softly to remind Qin Yuan. Disdain was disdain, but he couldn't show it in front of the host. Besides, Zhao Ping was indeed a little ugly. Her family was rich, and they themselves said that they didn't mind her appearance. If they broke off the engagement because of her appearance, it would be unkind of them. However, they were more or less dissatisfied with matchmaker Yu Gao in their hearts. She only said that Zhao Ping was ugly, but didn't say that Zhao Ping could be ugly to this extent. The Qin couple forced a smile and said to Zhao Ping, actually it's okay. It's not that ugly. I've seen many people uglier than you. Yuan, don't you think so? Qin Yuan's mother, Mu Chunfang, sat next to Qin Yuan and poked Qin Yuan with her arm. Qin Yuan was stunned for a few seconds before he realized it. The corners of his mouth twitched as he replied, yes, that's right. Luckily, it's not that ugly. Although he said that, Qin Yuan didn't think so in his heart. He didn't want to look at Zhao Ping's face a second time. Perhaps Zhao Ping's appearance was far from what he had expected. He was a normal man. It would be a lie to say that he didn't care about a woman's appearance. If not for the fact that his family was poor, he would also want to marry a good-looking wife. When Zhao Ping heard the Qin couple and Qin Yuan say this, she felt relieved. She smiled shyly and stole glances at Qin Yuan from time to time. Qin Yuan felt extremely uncomfortable being stared at by Zhao Ping. It would have been fine if he was being stared at by a beauty, but he was being stared at by such an ugly woman. Qin Yuan had no choice but to look elsewhere. Zhao Wenhua and the Qin couple chatted for a long time. As they chatted, they had a rough understanding of Zhao Ping's family situation. Hearing Zhao Wenhua's words, their family was very rich. If Qin Yuan married Zhao Ping, then their family would more or less receive help in the future. Perhaps they wouldn't have to live such a hard life. When the Qin couple saw that their son was very unhappy, they thought that they should go back and persuade him to do some psychological homework. For their family, no matter what, they had to marry Zhao Ping. In the kitchen, Zhao Yin and Liang Jinxiao worked together to prepare the dishes. They brought the dishes to the third branch's room and invited the Qin family to eat. Chapter 523. They never expected that the bride's family would have so much delicious food. There were fish and meat, and they were so hungry that they swallowed their saliva. Family Chin's family rarely ate meat in a year, so they could not resist the temptation of these dishes. Moreover, these dishes were so delicious that they were definitely more delicious than the meat they made. After all, they were not in their own home, so the Chin family restrained themselves and were too embarrassed to eat. They could only eat if the host allowed them to. While waiting for Zhao Wenhua's family to speak, they kept glancing at the dishes on the table. Liang Jinxiao laughed and said, "Come, hurry up and eat. We only prepared this much today. Don't be shy and eat to your heart's content." The Qin couple smiled at Liang Jinxiao and said, "Sister-in-law, your family's food is really good. There's fish and meat. Most people don't even have as many dishes as your family during the New Year." Liang Jinxiao smiled and said, "You are important guests, so of course we have to treat you well. In the past, my family often didn't get to eat meat, but now we often get to eat meat. It's okay, when the days get better in the future, these won't be a problem." Liang Jinxiao did not mean anything else when he said these words, and he did not think too much about it. When the Qin couple heard this, they sighed in their hearts that Zhao Ping's family was really not ordinary. How good would it be if their family could eat meat often in the future? At the same time, the members of the Zhao family also sat around the table. The table was not big, so they could only squeeze together. Zhao Ping happily squeezed onto the same stool as Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan furrowed his brows slightly, appearing to be unhappy. Zhao Ping did not catch the expression on Qin Yuan's face. Instead, she continued to lean closer to Qin Yuan, as if she wanted to stick her whole body to Qin Yuan. Zhao Yin'er sighed. Even if Zhao Ping liked him, she shouldn't be like this, right? Aren't you afraid of incurring the wrath of the Qin Yuan by being so unreserved? In front of so many people, Zhao Yin'er couldn't remind Zhao Ping. The Qin couple secretly winked at Qin Yuan. Only then did Qin Yuan restrain the disgust in his eyes. It's not easy for our two families to gather together today. Let's have a good meal together. Don't be shy." Zhao Wenhua greeted with a smile. "Father." Zhao Ping called out shyly. Zhao Wenhua asked, "What's wrong, Ping?" "Father, didn't little sister Yin give you a jar of good wine before? You don't even take out the good wine when treating people like this," Zhao Ping said bashfully. As he spoke, he glanced at the Qin couple. He was just trying to curry favor with them. Upon hearing that it was good wine, Qin Yuan's father, Qin Dahai's eyes lit up. His favorite drink was wine. However, with his family's financial situation, he couldn't even afford cheap wine, let alone other good wine. Zhao Wenhua patted his head and said, "Pinger is right. Look at my memory. I forgot to bring out the wine. I'll go get it." Liang Jinxiao stood up and took out the wine that Zhao Yin'er had brought over. Zhao Wenhua took it and filled Qin Dahai's bowl with wine. He hadn't even drunk it yet, but he could tell that it was good wine just by smelling the aroma. Chapter 524. On one hand, these words were meant for Zhao Ping, and on the other hand, for Qin Yuan to hear. He only hoped that by saying this, Qin Yuan would be able to accept Zhao Ping. Qin Yuan was somewhat displeased. He thought about how his father could sell him out just because of some wine. "Come, don't just sit there. Hurry up and eat, hurry up and eat." Zhao Wenhua chuckled and called out to them. The Qin family was already impatient. When Zhao Wenhua said this, they did not hold back and began to eat. It was unknown if it was because they had never eaten such delicious food before, but the Qin family kept eating. They seemed to have forgotten that they were at someone else's house, and did not hold back. Fish meat was good to begin with. With Zhao Yin'er's excellent cooking skills to the Qin family, it was simply a heavenly delicacy. Zhao Yin'er was not very satisfied with the Qin family's performance at the dining table. Although she could understand that the Qin family was too poor, and could not resist the temptation of delicious food, they kept eating as if they were afraid that others would snatch the food away. But they could not be like this. The Qin family gave Zhao Yin'er the same feeling that Ma Xiaofeng gave her. It was a very bad feeling. Zhao Yun'er's opinion of the Qin family was not important. It was fine as long as Zhao Ping was satisfied. When Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao saw that the Qin family was eating so happily, they did not want to talk about other things. They wanted to spoil their mood and wait for them to finish eating. At the dining table, Zhao Ping attentively kept putting food into Qin Yuan's bowl. Qin Yuan stared at the chopsticks that Zhao Ping had eaten and felt extremely disgusted. If it were not for the fact that the food was too delicious, he would not have taken it. After they finally finished eating, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao prepared to have a good chat with the Qin couple about their children's marriage. Ouch! Qin Yuan cried out as she clutched her stomach. Her face was slightly red, and she looked a little shy and embarrassed. What's wrong, Yuan? Mu Chunfang asked Qin Yuan with concern. I have a stomachache and I want to go to the toilet, Qin Yuan said in a low voice. This was the first time he had come to the girl's house, and he had already told her about it. It was indeed embarrassing. The dishes on the table had not been cleaned up, and the others were very embarrassed. Fortunately, these words were not heard during the meal just now. Otherwise, this table of people would not be able to continue eating. When the others did not know what to say, Zhao Ping jumped out and said, Big brother Yuan, then go and poop. I'll bring some toilet paper to accompany you. After Zhao Ping finished speaking, she eagerly took out a tissue and handed it to Qin Yuan. Let's go, big brother Yuan. I'll go with you, Zhao Ping said. She said it with a natural expression, and did not think there was anything wrong with it. Qin Yuan was completely stunned. He, a man, was going to poop. Why was she, a woman, following him? The Qin couple was shocked by Zhao Ping's words. They thought that as a girl, how could she have the nerve to say such words? Didn't she know how to be a little reserved? She said that she was passionate, but she could not follow a man to poop. After all, they were not married yet. It was really not good for her to do so. Chapter 525. Zhao Ping thought that Qin Yuan cared about her. Well, I won't go with you. You can do it by yourself. Zhao Yun'er stood aside. She couldn't describe her feelings. She wondered if Zhao Ping was retarded. Apart from this explanation, she couldn't think of any reason why Zhao Ping would do such a thing. This idiot hoped that she could get married successfully this time. She should go and harm other people. She shouldn't continue to stay at home and harm them. Qin Yuan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then I'll go. Okay, brother Yuan, the latrine is just behind my yard. Be careful. Okay. Qin Yuan answered and quickly ran out with his legs between his legs. If Zhao Ping continued to delay him, he would probably shit into his pants. Seeing Qin Yuan rushing out in a hurry, Zhao Yun'er knew that Qin Yuan was anxious. Family Qin didn't have much money, so they usually didn't eat good food. There wasn't much oil in the dishes. Today, they came to her house and ate so many oily dishes at once. It would be strange if their stomachs didn't complain. Ordinary people's stomachs couldn't stand it. Zhao Yun'er deliberately didn't stop the family Qin when she saw them eating like crazy just now. She knew that if they ate too much, she would be the one who suffered in the end. Qin Yuan walked out of old Zhao's yard. After catching a glimpse of the latrine, he rushed over as fast as he could. But before he could enter, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. Because he heard a series of fart sounds coming from inside. Without a doubt, someone was defecating inside. Qin Yuan felt that his feces were about to come out. He finally rushed to the latrine with great difficulty, but there was someone inside. At this moment, he was so anxious that he didn't know how to describe it. It was as if he was doing acupuncture. It was abnormally uncomfortable. Just when he was about to suffocate, the person inside let out a series of dong 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 sounds and made a series of comfortable sounds. It sounded like a girl's voice. He frowned, thinking that if it was a man, it would be easier to negotiate. Since he had enjoyed himself for a while, he could quickly wipe his ass and let him in. He wasn't a child, so he couldn't just randomly pick a spot to squat down and poop. Qin Yuan wanted to say something, but he was afraid that if he did, the girl inside would fall into the latrine pit. After all, A big man was standing outside when a girl was taking a dump. She would be scared out of her wits. Thus, he clamped his legs together and prepared to wait outside. He would go in when the people inside came out. Suddenly he regretted not bringing Zhao Ping'er. Otherwise Zhao Ping'er could tell the woman inside. To the disappointment of the Qin Yuan, the people inside didn't look like they were about to come out. Instead, they were humming a tune inside. Qin Yuan was shocked. The latrine was so smelly. How could he have the leisure to stay in there and not come out? This girl was a little too strange. La 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 la. No, if I don't poop now, it'll really reach my crotch. Qin Yuan had no choice but to clear his throat and say to the woman in the latrine, "Miss, I don't know if you're done with your sh*t. I heard you were singing, so I guess you're almost done. Why don't you wipe your ass and let me in?" Chapter 526. No, I'm not a pervert. Miss, don't get agitated. I just had a stomachache and wanted to take a dump. You were here when I came over. I couldn't hold it in anymore, so I spoke to you. I didn't see anything wrong with you. Qin Yuan hurriedly explained. He was a decent person. How could he be called a pervert? He didn't want others to misunderstand him. Damn pervert. You're in someone else's latrine and you still say you're not a pervert. This latrine belongs to my family. Why are you here? Someone inside asked angrily. This person was none other than Zhao Xinhui. Zhao Xinhui was no longer in the mood to continue taking a dump and singing. She hurriedly took a piece of tissue paper and wiped her butt. The moment she came out, she saw a fair-skinned little boy. He was quite good-looking. However, his face was red from holding it in. Seeing Zhao Xinhui come out, Qin Yuan hurriedly rushed into the latrine and closed the door. He took off his pants and emptied his bowels into the latrine. Zhao Xinhui's mouth twitched a few times. She didn't even have time to say anything before he rushed in. Huff huff. It feels so good. Qin Yuan panted. At this moment, he realized that one of the most enjoyable things in the world was probably the moment he suddenly released his bowels after holding it in for too long. Qin Yuan's stomach felt much better, and he wasn't in such a hurry. Instead, he squatted in the latrine and continued to take his time to clean it. Zhao Xinhui, who was outside the latrine, didn't leave immediately. Anyway, she was thick-skinned and didn't know how to be shy. She didn't feel anything when she saw a man taking a dump. Moreover, he hadn't explained anything. How could she let him go just like that? Hence, she asked Qin Yuan inside. "I'm guessing you're Zhao Ping'er's blind date, right?" Zhao Xinhui knew that Zhao Ping'er's future in-laws had come today. When they came, she was in the house and didn't see them. Since Zhao Xinhui was talking to him, Qin Yuan couldn't not answer, so he answered, "Yes." After replying to Zhao Xinhui, he realized that it was strange. How could he talk to a woman while taking a dump? "Oh, it's true." Zhao Xinhui snorted. "What's wrong?" Qin Yuan asked curiously. "That's exactly why you're so brave. How could you bear to lay your hands on such an ugly woman like Zhao Ping?" Zhao Xinhui's tone carried a hint of mockery. "Well, Miss Gu, to be honest with you, I'm from a poor family, and I'm lucky to have a wife. Although this Ping-er is a little ugly, she can give birth. At the very least, she can pass on her ancestral line." Qin Yuan explained honestly. Zhao Xinhui nodded. So that's what happened. He suddenly began to sympathize with Qin Yuan. Just because his family was poor, he had to marry an ugly woman. "Oh, I wonder if you're Ping-er's," Zhao Xinhui answered. "I'm her aunt." "Oh, Ping-er has an aunt. I didn't expect that you'd be so young and beautiful." If you didn't say it yourself, other people wouldn't be able to tell. Compared with Ping-er, you're like a fairy. Qin Yuan stuck his head out of the latrine and had a glance at Zhao Xinhui. After seeing Zhao Xinhui's appearance clearly, he complimented her. Zhao Xinhui was flattered by Qin Yuan's compliment and felt very happy in her heart. Chapter 527. Afraid that Qin Yuan would misunderstand, Zhao Xinhui explained. You're a fresh flower and she's cow dung. Qin Yuan smiled shyly. I'm not a fresh flower, am I? Zhao Xinhui stared at Qin Yuan's face carefully. You're really good looking. Anyway, Ping, doesn't deserve your good looks. Sigh. Qin Yuan sighed. The more he spoke, the sadder he felt. He thought about Zhao Ping's face. If he had to face her every day and have children with her, how would he live in the future? Qin Yuan looked at Zhao Xinhui's face again, and wondered why his blind date today was not Zhao Xinhui, but Zhao Ping. The two of them chatted in front of the latrine for a long time. Zhao Xinhui thought that Qin Yuan was interesting, while Qin Yuan thought that Zhao Xinhui was good-looking and wanted to get closer to her. When Qin Yuan's stomach was clean and he realized that it was time to get up, his legs were numb because he had been squatting for too long. Ouch! Qin Yuan cried out. Fortunately, he had quick reflexes and grabbed the latrine's wooden door. Otherwise, he might have fallen into the manure vat. Huff huff. Qin Yuan patted his chest, still in a state of shock. Fortunately, he had grabbed the door in time. If he hadn't grabbed it in time, or if he hadn't, he would have fallen into the manure vat. He would have been covered in manure, and would have stinked to death. The main thing was to stink. It didn't matter if it was a little disgusting. Such an embarrassing thing would definitely make him a laughing stock. Zhao Xinhui heard Qin Yuan's movements and hurriedly asked, "What's wrong with you?" My legs are numb. I can't stand. Sigh, what should I do? Qin Yuan sighed. Zhao Xinhui felt that Qin Yuan was acting this way because she had chatted with her for a long time. She also had to bear some responsibility. Thus he said to Qin Yuan, "Let me give you a hand." Qin Yuan blushed and asked shyly, This isn't good, is it? I am a man." Zhao Xinhui interrupted Qin Yuan and said, "That's enough. Let's not talk about these useless things. When you and Ping get married in the future, you'll be my niece-in-law. What's the big deal? Besides, there's no one here. If I don't help you, who will? Could it be that you want to stay in this latrine pit? Don't wait until I'm gone, and no one will know if you fall in and drown." Hearing Zhao Xinhui's words, Qin Yuan didn't refuse. He smiled shyly and said, That's fine. Auntie thanks you." Qin Yuan didn't know how to address Zhao Xinhui. She could only follow Zhao Ping, and call Zhao Xinhui auntie. "You're welcome." Zhao Xinhui waved her hand. As she spoke, she walked towards the latrine pit. The moment she entered, she screamed, Why aren't you wearing pants?" Zhao Xinhui asked as she pointed at Qin Yuan's thing. However, after Zhao Xinhui asked that question, her gaze didn't leave Qin Yuan's thing. She couldn't help but take a few more glances. She had never seen a man's thing before. However, she had seen a child's thing once. It was definitely different from an adult's. Zhao Xinhui was a little puzzled as she looked at Qin Yuan's thing, which was the size of a bean, hidden in the dark forest below. Why was it so small? In the past, when she listened to her parents, her mother would always complain that her father's thing was too big, and that it would be uncomfortable to stuff it in. She then looked at Qin Yuan's. It shouldn't be uncomfortable to stuff it in, right? Chapter 528. As he spoke, he hurriedly reached out to pull up his pants. Unfortunately, with one hand holding the door and the other holding up his pants, he was unable to fasten the belt of his pants. What should he do? If he let go of the other hand, he would not be able to support himself, and would fall into the latrine pit. "Auntie, can you help me up now? I have to pull up my pants. I can't do it with one hand," Qin Yuan said awkwardly. "Well, why don't I help you? You can hold the door yourself," Zhao Xinhui said. "Auntie, that's not very good." Qin Yuan felt that he had never been stared at by a woman. Moreover, she even offered to help him pull up his pants. If someone else stared at him, he would probably feel very uncomfortable. He didn't know why, but when Zhao Xinhui saw it, he felt some joy in his heart. "I'm a woman. If I can't hold you up, both of us will fall into the latrine pit. Let me help you." Qin Yuan thought that what Zhao Xinhui said made sense, so he nodded and said, "Okay, auntie, help me. Thank you." "It's okay. It's not a big deal." Zhao Ping'er stretched out her hands and looked at Qin Yuan's thing. She could not help but want to reach out and flick it a few times. In the end, she resisted and quickly pulled up Qin Yuan's pants. The moment Zhao Xinhui leaned over, Qin Yuan's heart could not stop beating. He felt a rush of excitement. This girl was so good. She was good-looking and kind-hearted. Done. Zhao Xinhui clapped her hands and said, "Thank you, Auntie. You're welcome. Let's go out. The latrine pit stinks. It was fine when I was pooping just now. Why is it so smelly after you're done?" Zhao Xinhui fanned the smell and said while pinching her nose. Qin Yuan smiled awkwardly and said, "Auntie, maybe it's because your poop smells good and mine smells bad." Zhao Xinhui was amused by Qin Yuan's words. This man's mouth really knew how to make people happy. Even her feces were said to be fragrant by him. His impression of Qin Yuan had greatly improved. "Don't talk nonsense. Do you think I'm stupid? Whose shit smells good? Let's go, let's get out of here quickly." "Okay, Auntie." Qin Yuan answered happily. Inside the house, the family Qin couple, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao, were discussing the marriage of Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan's children. He wanted to set a date as soon as possible and hold the wedding ceremony. Zhao Ping'er waited for a long time, but Qin Yuan did not return. She said somewhat anxiously, "Why isn't Big Brother Yuan back yet? Did he fall into the latrine?" Zhao Yun'er was drinking water when she choked on Zhao Ping'er's words. Zhao Ping'er was such a weirdo. She would never stop until she said something shocking. "Yeah, Yuan'er has been pooping for a long time. Why isn't he back yet?" Mu Chunfeng also felt that it was strange and frowned. Maybe his stomach hurts too much, so he stayed in the latrine pit for a while longer. Qin Dahai replied and told Mu Chunfeng not to be too worried. "Uncle, who poops for such a long time? His legs can't take it." Zhao Ping'er said anxiously. Qin Dahai thought that was indeed the case. If one stayed in the latrine pit for too long, their legs would become very numb. Chapter 529. Zhao Yun'er was just joking. She didn't expect Zhao Ping'er to take it seriously. Zhao Ping'er felt that Zhao Yun'er's words made sense, so she nodded in agreement. "Little sister Yun'er, you're right. I'll go take a look now, in case anything happens to Big Brother Yuan." This time, the Qin couple didn't stop Zhao Ping'er. They were also worried about Qin Yuan. "Then Ping'er, you should go and take a look. Please don't let anything happen to him." "Yeah. Let's go take a look." Yes. Zhao Ping'er nodded heavily. "I'll go now." After saying that, she ran out of the room of the third branch. Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched. Weirdo, too freaking weirdo. She really didn't know what to say. They were clearly born from the same mother. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were also quite normal. Why did they have to give birth to such a brainless person like Zhao Ping'er when the rest of them were fine? She couldn't care less about Zhao Ping'er's matters. She just hoped that she wouldn't cause trouble for her. When Zhao Ping'er rushed to the latrine, she discovered that Qin Yuan was actually with Zhao Xinhui. Moreover, the two of them were even hugging each other. Zhao Ping'er was instantly enraged. She thought that something had happened to Qin Yuan and ran over worriedly. She didn't expect that Qin Yuan was actually intimate with her aunt. Zhao Ping'er already treated Qin Yuan as her man. How could she stand him being so intimate with someone else? She believed that Qin Yuan was fine. It was definitely her aunt who seduced Qin Yuan. After all, her aunt didn't have a man. When she saw her aunt, she couldn't help but reach out to snatch him. B*TCH, B*TH. Zhao Ping'er fiercely gritted her teeth and rushed towards Zhao Xinhui. "Aunt, why are you so despicable? How dare you seduce my man? Let me tell you, Big Brother Yuan is mine, and only mine. Don't even think about snatching him away. Otherwise, I'll tear your face apart. Let's see how you can get married in the future." Zhao Ping'er said angrily. She stared at Zhao Xinhui's face with jealousy. She knew that her aunt was good-looking, and the clothes she wore were even prettier than hers. It was because of this that she was able to seduce people. Men liked flirtatious women. Ouch! How could Zhao Xinhui withstand Zhao Ping'er's fierce push? He fell to the ground and couldn't get up. Zhao Ping, or what are you doing? Zhao Xinhui glared at Zhao Ping. What a crazy woman. Qin Yuan was stunned. Then, she hurriedly fell to the ground and asked Zhao Xinhui with concern. Auntie, are you okay? Does it hurt? Shall I rub it for you? Seeing Qin Yuan's heartache and concern for Zhao Xinhui was even more jealous. She stomped her feet hatefully and said, Big brother Yuan, how could you be seduced by my aunt? You don't know what kind of person my aunt is. She's terrible. She seduced you because she can't bear to see me doing well. She's not sincere towards you at all. You have to keep your eyes open. Don't be fooled by her. Qin Yuan was even more disgusted with Zhao Ping. She replied coldly, Zhao Ping, what nonsense are you talking about? Your aunt saw that my legs were numb from squatting in the latrine, so she just helped me up. She clearly had good intentions, but you made it sound like she was seducing you. You're the one with a filthy heart. Do you think everyone is like you? Zhao Ping was stunned. Her aunt only helped Qin Yuan up? Then didn't she really misunderstand her? Chapter 530. Zhao Xinhui was really thinking for Qin Yuan. She didn't want Qin Yuan to be so pitiful as to marry an ugly and stupid woman like Zhao Ping. Qin Yuan was silent for a moment. He didn't know whether he would marry her or not, but he did have to seriously discuss it with his parents later. Zhao Ping panicked and looked at Qin Yuan pitifully. Big brother Yuan, I'm sorry. I was too impulsive and misunderstood you. Please don't be angry with me. It wasn't easy to find a man who was willing to marry her. Moreover, she felt pretty good about it. If she ran away just like that, wouldn't she suffer a huge loss? She probably wouldn't be able to find another man who was willing to marry her in the future. Qin Yuan snorted softly and continued to ignore Zhao Ping. At the end of the day, he was still angry at Zhao Ping, for treating Zhao Xinhui this way. When he saw that Zhao Xinhui was injured, his heart also ached. Auntie, are you okay? Qin Yuan asked with concern, his gaze much gentler. I almost died. Zhao Xinhui replied. She glanced at Zhao Ping, and realized that she was looking at her with eyes full of jealousy. Zhao Xinhui curled her lips and decided to anger her again. Thus, she leaned on Qin Yuan's body and said to Qin Yuan, It hurts too. Zhao Xinhui pointed at her arms and legs. Auntie, let me help you rub them. Qin Yuan said attentively. On one hand, it was because his heart ached for Zhao Xinhui, and he wanted to help her rub them. On the other hand, he felt that it was his blessing to be able to touch Zhao Xinhui's body. Zhao Xinhui replied faintly. Qin Yuan's hand then rested on Zhao Xinhui's body, and started to rub and pinch. It still hurts. I can't walk. How can I go back? Zhao Xinhui said deliberately. Qin Yuan hurriedly squatted in front of Zhao Xinhui and said to Zhao Xinhui, Auntie, let me carry you back. All right, that's all we can do. Zhao Ping was already mad with jealousy. How could this be? How despicable. Her aunt did it on purpose. Because he had deliberately smiled at her just now, as if he was showing off. Big brother Yuan, can you not carry my little aunt? You haven't carried me on your back, so how can you carry my aunt on your back? Zhao Ping's tone was full of jealousy. Zhao Ping, isn't this all your fault? If you didn't push your aunt until she sprained her ankle, your aunt wouldn't be unable to walk, right? But, that's enough. Don't say so much. Otherwise, I'll really hate you. Qin Yuan said angrily. After Qin Yuan said that, Zhao Ping, didn't dare to continue speaking. She pursed her lips and had no choice but to let Qin Yuan carry Zhao Xinhui back. Zhao Ping, had already cursed Zhao Xinhui in her heart. Despicable auntie. She would remember this. Zhao Xinhui lay on Qin Yuan's body, and even deliberately turned her head to stick out her tongue at Zhao Ping. Zhao Yin saw that Zhao Ping, and Qin Yuan had returned. But why was Qin Yuan carrying Zhao Xinhui on his back? Zhao Ping, who was following behind, was simply like a resentful wife. Zhao Yin's heart suddenly judged that something interesting had happened just now. Qin Yuan first sent Zhao Xinhui to the room. Auntie. Rest well then. I'm going out. Although he said that, he couldn't bear to do so in his heart. He glanced at the beautiful girl in front of him, and couldn't even move his feet. Okay. Zhao Xinhui replied. Next time you come over, continue to play with me. Chapter 531. When Qin Yuan was about to leave, Zhao Xinhui suddenly stopped him. Qin Yuan asked nervously, Aunt, what's wrong? Come here. Zhao Xinhui beckoned Qin Yuan over with her finger. Aunt. Qin Yuan was fascinated by Zhao Xinhui's beautiful face, and moved closer to her happily. Aunt, what's wrong? Zhao Xinhui didn't say anything, but kissed Qin Yuan's cheek when Qin Yuan moved closer. Qin Yuan was stunned. What was going on? Zhao Xinhui kissed him? Did this mean that Zhao Xinhui also had a good impression of him? Thinking of that, Qin Yuan couldn't help getting excited. If Zhao Xinhui also liked him and was willing to be with him, then even if he had to live a hard life, he wouldn't marry Zhao Pinger. When he was about to say something, Zhao Xinhui whispered in his ear, Let's go now. Thank you for what you did today. Qin Yuan blushed and stammered. It's nothing. I'm happy to do it. Zhao Xinhui smirked. Hurry up and get out. Otherwise, that last ping, will really rush into my room and cause trouble for me. Sure. Qin Yuan was reluctant to leave Zhao Xinhui's room. As he expected, he found Zhao Ping, waiting outside and craning her neck to see what was going on inside. Qin Yuan frowned and hated Zhao Ping more and more. Brother Yuan. Zhao Ping greeted Qin Yuan the moment he walked out. Qin Yuan ignored Zhao Ping, and walked straight away. Zhao Ping immediately followed Qin Yuan. Brother Yuan, please don't ignore me, okay? Shut up. Don't bother me. Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping, both went to the third branch's room, and Zhao Yun felt the subtle change in their relationship. It was getting interesting, and Zhao Yun was curious about what had happened just now. Qin Yuan sat down in front of Mr. and Mrs. Qin without saying a word. It was hard to tell whether he was happy or not. Mr. and Mrs. Qin were chatting happily with Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao agreed. If Zhao Ping successfully got married, she would be given at least 5 taels of silver as dowry. Liang Jinxiao did not have 5 taels of silver with him at the moment, and he was prepared to borrow it from Zhao Yun, and return it in the future. Zhao Yun naturally had no objections. If they really gave away Zhao Ping, this weirdo, she would be willing to give away 10 taels of silver, let alone 5 taels of silver. When Mr. and Mrs. Qin heard that Zhao Ping's family actually had so much dowry, they were even more determined to let Qin Yuan marry Zhao Ping. The two families agreed to the marriage for the time being. As for when the wedding would be held, they would decide on the date later. During this period of time, they could also let Qin Yuan come over more often. The two children could spend time together and cultivate their relationship. In the afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Qin stood up and said goodbye. Sister-in-law, that's all we have to say. We will go back first, and let Yuan come over alone later, Mu Chunfang said. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao did not ask them to stay. Then you can go back first. Okay, thank you for your hospitality today. Haha, it's nothing, Liang Jinxiao said with a smile, and at the same time he went to the kitchen to take something out. There was half a kilogram of meat, 10 eggs and 2 fish. You can take these back. It's also a little gift from us. We know that your life is not easy. Chapter 532. It wasn't appropriate for Qin Yuan to accept the gifts immediately, so he said, Sister-in-law, you're too polite. It's already troublesome for us to come here. How can we accept your gifts? It's fine. Take it. We'll be in-laws in the future. You don't have to be so polite. Well, we'll take it. Qin Yuan and Qin Yuan were delighted. They were just being polite. How could they not accept so many good gifts? Mother, let's go, Qin Yuan said. Be careful on your way back. I know. You don't have to walk us out. Let's go home. Okay. Zhao Yun, and her family didn't go back to the house until Qin Yuan, and Qin Yuan left old Zhao's yard. Zhao Yin'er's impression of the Qin couple was even worse. She knew that they were greedy when she saw their eyes. She wondered if it was because they were too poor that they developed this mentality. Zhao Ping sat on the stool angrily. Liang Jinxiao asked with concern. What's wrong, Ping? Why do you look unhappy? Mother, Aunt Qin seduced my man. Zhao Ping said. She directly called Qin Yuan her man. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao frowned and said, Ping, you're not married yet. You'll be laughed at if you say that. Mother, I'll be married to Qin Yuan in the future. He's my man. Mother, you don't know. Aunt Qin is too much. She can't get married and can't find a man, so she wants to seduce my man. Please help me. Looking at Zhao Ping's angry and anxious expression, Zhao Yun couldn't help laughing. Liang Jinxiao sighed. Ping, how can I help you? You think too much. Don't worry. Your aunt has high standards. I'm sure she won't like Qin Yuan. Moreover, Qin Yuan's parents have already discussed your marriage with us, so they won't go back on their word, right? After being comforted by Liang Jinxiao, Zhao Yun felt that Liang Jinxiao's words made sense. Mom, can I really marry Qin Yuan? Of course he can. Didn't you see that he didn't say anything when I told his parents about your marriage? Isn't that a tacit agreement? That's good, Zhao Ping suddenly felt much better. On the other side, the Qin couple was on their way back. The Qin couple was in a great mood. They ate a delicious meal and brought back so many good things. Mu Chunfang whispered into Qin Yuan's ear. You want to look at this? Ping's family is really generous. If you marry Ping, our family's life will be much better. Speaking of this, Qin Yuan pulled a long face. Mother, am I really going to marry Zhao Ping? What's wrong, Yuan? Are you going back on your word now? Mu Chunfang asked a little anxiously. Qin Dahai was also a little anxious. Yes, Yuan, what's wrong with you? Father, mother. I just think that Zhao Ping is too ugly and stupid. I'll definitely feel uncomfortable being with her. Chapter 533. Qin Dahai also agreed. Yuan, your mother is right. No matter what, you have to marry Pinger for the sake of our family. Qin Yuan looked at his poor parents and his foolish older brother at home and sighed. He could only suffer in exchange for a better life for his family. Father, mother. Fine, we'll do as you say. Alas, that's a good boy. After the things in the third branch were settled, Zhao Yun'er went back. As soon as she came back, she saw Mu Lianfeng sitting on a stool. He seemed to be unhappy and sulking. Zhao Yun'er felt curious. What's going on? Who provoked him? Mu Lianfeng, why are you sitting there like an idiot? Zhao Yun'er walked over and asked. Mu Lianfeng raised his head with a bitter face and asked Zhao Yun'er. Yun'er, who is the Uncle Lu that Dao mentioned? Zhao Yun'er was stunned. Why did this guy ask this out of the blue? Yun'er, why aren't you talking? Mu Lianfeng sounded even more jealous. Zhao Yun'er was curious why Mu Lianfeng suddenly mentioned Lu Lei. What did Dao Du and Mu Lianfeng talk about? The corner of her mouth twitched a few times. It's Lu Lei. Don't you know him? Lu Lei. Mu Lianfeng frowned. He had a little impression of that name. He had met him before. Yeah, except for him, Dao Du doesn't know any other Uncle Lu. What did Dao Du say? Look at you, you're so jealous. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but tease him like a little wife. Oh, nothing. Mu Lianfeng sighed. Nothing? Zhao Yun'er glanced at Mu Lianfeng. Do you think I'll believe you? Just tell me what you want to say. I don't like secrets and suspicions when we're together. If you have any doubts, I can explain it to you clearly. Zhao Yun'er knew that if they didn't treat each other honestly, there would definitely be problems if there were suspicions. Since Zhao Yun'er said so, Mu Lianfeng didn't hide the truth and told her the reason. It turned out that today when he asked Dao Du who treated him better, and who Dao Du liked, Dao Du mentioned that before Mu Lianfeng came, the man who treated Dao Du the best was Lu Lei, the Uncle Lu that Dao Du mentioned. At that time, Lu Lei often came to Zhao Yun'er's place to help. Mu Lianfeng was very jealous when he thought about how a man often came to Zhao Yun'er's side in the past 3 years. At the same time, he felt even more guilty towards Zhao Yun'er. Why wasn't he by Zhao Yun'er's side when she needed him the most? So much so that another man took care of and protected them. Mu Lianfeng also explained his feelings in his heart. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but laugh. You are jealous of the wrong person. In fact, you should be thanking her, right? At least when you weren't around, someone helped us. As for me and Lu Lei, you don't have to worry. If I were interested in him, I would be with him now. After Zhao Yun'er said this, Mu Lianfeng's heart suddenly became a lot more cheerful. Yun'er liked him. It was fate. Since she wasn't interested in Lu Lei, why should he be jealous? He did have to thank him for helping Zhao Yun'er and her son in the past 3 years. Chapter 534. Give him something? Yes, pick some gifts to express your gratitude. He helped you and your mother. As his father and husband, I can't not say anything. Wouldn't that make me seem very heartless? Zhao Yun'er was amused by Mu Lianfeng. He really had a lot of ideas. However, Zhao Yun'er didn't have any objections to Mu Lianfeng expressing his gratitude. If you want to give him something, then give him something. Mu Lianfeng nodded in response. For a moment, Mu Lianfeng didn't know what to give. He felt that it would be better to give him some money. Thus he took out 100 taels of silver and said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, take me there. Are you sure you want to give him money? Zhao Yun'er frowned. She felt that it wasn't very good to give him money. But we don't know what he wants. If we give him something impractical, wouldn't it be of no help at all? Zhao Yun'er felt that Mu Lianfeng's words were somewhat reasonable. All right then. Let's go. The two of them walked towards Lu Lei's house together. When Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng arrived, Lu Lei was chopping wood in his courtyard. Brother Lazy, Zhao Yun'er called out. After hearing Zhao Yun'er's voice, Lu Lei's heart was filled with joy. However, when he looked up, he found that Zhao Yun'er was followed by Mu Lianfeng. Brother Lazy, Zhao Yun'er came in front of Lu Lei and smiled. Lu Lei wiped the beads of sweat on his forehead and sized up Mu Lianfeng. He knew Mu Lianfeng's identity, but he didn't have any fear in front of Mu Lianfeng. He straightened his back and said faintly, I don't know why Lord Shizhi is here. Mu Lianfeng was not bothered by Lu Lei's attitude. Instead, he directly stated his intentions. After hearing Mu Lianfeng's words, Lu Lei frowned. He was not happy. His attitude towards Mu Lianfeng was still cold and indifferent. Your Highness, you don't have to express your gratitude. I was willing to take care of Yun'er and Doubta back then. Big brother Lu, you don't have to be polite with him. With this money, you can buy some land. When the time comes, you can even get a wife. Lu Lei took a deep breath. I really don't need it. Yun'er, I appreciate your and Shizhi's good intentions. I'm living a good life by myself now. I don't need to buy a field. I don't need this 100 taels of silver at all. Zhao Yun'er didn't like to force people. Lu Lei's attitude was already very clear. Thinking about it, sending money over was indeed too abrupt. All right then, Brother Lei. Why don't you come to my house for dinner tonight? Don't refuse this, okay? Lu Lei couldn't refuse, so he nodded and said, All right then. Yun'er, I'll go to your place for dinner tonight. Yes. Then I'll go back and prepare first. Okay. Watching Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng's backs as they left, Lu Lei clenched his fists. He never expected that Shizhi's father was Doubta's biological father. In this way, he didn't even need to think about being together with Zhao Yun'er. The last bit of hope in his heart suddenly disappeared at this moment. Lu Lei felt a little desolate in his heart. Big brother Lu, they're too much. Xiao Hong walked over angrily. She was at the side just now and heard everything. Seeing Xiao Hong walk over, Lu Lei was stunned. Xiao Hong explained, Big brother Lu, my mother made quite a lot of biscuits. I wanted to send some over to you. I didn't expect to see this scene. Chapter 535. Xiao Hong continued. Brother Lu, aren't they just a little richer? They used money to humiliate others. Zhao Yun'er is too much. She clearly knows that you're good to her because you like her. But now she's asking the heir to come over and take the money to cut off all ties with you. She's a greedy woman. That's why she thought of using this method to humiliate others. Lu Lei said unhappily. Enough, stop talking. Brother Lu, you still want to protect Zhao Yin. Or don't you? Don't you see what kind of person she is? Brother Lu, I know you like her, but you can't continue to be like this. There's no possibility between you and her anymore. Don't you care about my feelings for you? You know that I like you. As Xiaohong spoke, she moved her body forward and wanted to stick to Lu Lei's body. Xiaohong, you're a girl. Don't be like this. It's not good if others see you like this. Lu Lei was scared and moved away gratefully. Brother Lu, don't you like me at all? Why don't you consider me when Zhao Yun doesn't like you? Xiaohong's eyes were red and there were tears in her eyes. She looked pitiful. Xiaohong, give me some time. Seeing that Xiaohong was about to cry, Lu Lei couldn't bear to say it. Xiaohong was a little excited. Okay, Brother Lu, I'll wait for you. Xiaohong thought to herself. It wasn't easy for Lu Lei to be willing to consider her now. She would wait slowly. She believed that Lu Lei would agree one day. She didn't know that the shameless scene of her pestering Lu Lei just now had been seen by someone else. This person was Ma Xiaofeng. Seeing Xiaohong like this, she didn't say anything. After all, Xiaohong had helped her before. She couldn't tell others about it. However, seeing Xiaohong like this, Ma Xiaofeng thought that she wasn't young anymore. Should she learn from Xiaohong and take the initiative to seduce men? After all, she could marry a good man while she was young. That would make her life easier in the future. Otherwise, when she was older, her mother might casually marry her off or sell her. On the way back, Mu Lianfeng asked cautiously, Yuner, is Lu Lei very unhappy? What do you think? If we take the money directly, it'll be like giving alms. Will they be happy? All right, it's my fault. Zhao Yuner sighed and said, there's nothing we can do about it. If you want to be grateful, I'll see if I can find an opportunity to help him in the future. Got it, Yin? Mu Lianfeng nodded. Zhao Yuner smiled. Don't think so much. Let's go back and prepare something delicious. All right. Zhao Yin and Mu Lianfeng arrived at the door of their house. Seeing Daodu squatting on the ground and crying, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly ran over and asked Daodu worriedly. Daodu, what's wrong? Did someone bully you? Mu Lianfeng's brows knitted together, and his eyes suddenly became sharp. As soon as he saw that his son might have been bullied, the coldness that burst out from his body made people feel scared. Daodu raised his head. Dad, Daodu wasn't bullied. It was little He who was bullied. As Daodu spoke, he carried little He out of his arms. Chapter 536. Daodu, what happened to little He? Zhao Yin'er looked at the wounds on little He's body. She was shocked and worried. Being asked by Zhao Yin'er, Daodu cried even harder. All right, Daodu, don't cry. Tell me, what happened to little He? Zhao Yin'er squatted down and touched Daodu's head. Mu Lianfeng also comforted him. Daodu, you're a man. Don't cry. Tell me what happened. Hearing Mu Lianfeng's words, Daodu wiped his tears and hugged little He. Father, it was Big Gray who bit little He. Today, when I took little He out to play, we ran into Big Gray. It chased after little He and bit him, but I couldn't beat Big Gray, so I couldn't protect little He. Daodu's tone was full of self-blame. Little He was his companion, and Daodu felt that he should protect little He well. The Big Gray that Daodu mentioned was Zhao Yin'er's eldest grandmother, Mrs. Hu. She was the one who had come to ask for help a few days ago. In Zhao Yin'er's memory, there was a big gray dog in Mrs. Hu's house. Its tail was cut, and it was very fierce. It was also very big, not much smaller than Xiao Mao. When the people and animals in the village saw Big Gray, they would avoid it. Otherwise, if they provoked Big Gray, they would either be bitten to death or disabled. Zhao Yin'er was glad that Daodu was fine. If he was bitten by Big Gray, his condition might be worse than little He's. Zhao Yin'er sighed and comforted him. All right, Daodu, it's not your fault. Let's check on little He first and see if he can still be saved. Okay. Show it to father, Mu Lianfeng said. Dowda handed Little Black over. After Mu Lianfeng took it, he saw that Little Black was on the verge of death. The injuries on its body were quite serious. How could such a small puppy withstand the bites of a big dog? Mu Lianfeng frowned. It was a little tricky to deal with Blackie's injuries. Dowdu asked worriedly, "Father, can Blackie still be saved?" Zhao Yuner was also concerned. After all, she had raised Little Black for such a long time and had long developed feelings for it. Zhao Yuner also did not want anything to happen to Little Black. Such a cute and sensible puppy had died just like that. Dowdu would probably cry himself to death. "There's still hope," Mu Lianfeng said. "Really?" Dowda's eyes brightened up a little. "Yes," Mu Lianfeng nodded, "but we have to treat Little Black's injuries first. Later, we'll go up the mountain to find a few herbs and bandage Little Black's injuries. It'll only recover after a few days of rest." Okay. As long as Little Black can be saved," Dowdu said excitedly. Zhao Yuner hurriedly took out something like a cotton cloth and used it to treat Little Black's injuries. Just looking at the wounds was painful. Big Gray was really a little too cruel. He had bitten so deeply. Did he have to go so far for his own kind? Little Black's dying appearance was very pitiful. They did not know if it was because they had hurt it, but it lifted its eyelids. Dowda looked at Little Black with a pained expression. "Little Black, you have to hang in there. My father will go back to get some herbs to save you. You must be fine. Dowda still wants to play with you in the future." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.